Hi, I would like to begin the episode by thanking some folks. Folks like Moonborn, Adam Horton, Nick, Simon Pender, and Interparty Conflict. All of these are people who have gone to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and helped us out. Go there, check out the tiers, see what fits for you. There's cool stuff there, we think. And maybe you will be thanked sometime later. You obviously get our thanks now, of course. That is patreon.com/DuckFeedTV.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is Games Club podcast.
And this week, little buddy, we're talking about Sam & Max Save the World, which was developed and published by Telltale Games for the PC, Xbox 360, and Wii between 2006 and 2007.
Because it's episodes.
Baby.
Remember that?
Yeah.
This episode was executive produced by our patron Cinderelf. And just real quick, shout out to Cinderelf. They've got a comic. If you go to Cinderelf, that's SINDRELF.com/Dog of Death. You can find this comic, which is about the Egyptian god of death, Anubis, being kind of reincarnated as a purse dog.
Ooh.
And it's super cute and really great art. Good stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Kickstarter for this. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
It looks like you can link to it's coming soon. The one for number 3, so you can link to that on the website.
A comic about a dog, very apropos. Yeah, Cinderelf is a stalwart community member. Frequently writes in for the Dispatch episodes as well.
Yeah, and the comic is very cute. So I'd recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
So there's a reaction GIF you can get. It's pretty menacing. I like it.
Yeah, nice.
He's mad.
Yeah.
Speaking of dogs,
we're talking about a Sam & Max game finally. This is a point and click adventure game where you play as an anthropomorphic dog named Sam, and indirectly as his partner, a hyperkinetic little rabbit thing named Max, and you are freelance police. Tasked with solving wacky mysteries in kind of a twisted cartoon version of America.
Yes. And this is kind of a point-and-click adventure game, very much in that LucasArts mold, like the original Sam & Max when they hit the road. But this is, since this is the Telltale reboot, which we'll talk about, it's pretty different. You're still solving puzzles by talking to people, kind of finding items in the environment and using them at the right places. But it's not nearly as complex.
Right.
You are not picking from a series of verbs. You just have context-dependent clicks, and you're not combining items in your inventory. And probably the biggest thing is the much more limited scope.
Yes.
Like the thing that I kept thinking about this as an adventure game was that it illustrates in a lot of ways the key elements of an adventure game. Like the basic food groups of it. Yeah. And one of them is that too much conservation of detail is the enemy of the adventure game. We talked about that with when we talked about the Mac Venture games way back in the day with Itemcraft.
Yes.
This has the opposite problem. If something exists, you want it and you'll use it. And that is 80% of solving a puzzle.
Yes. Yeah. So like it becomes, something that you can solve through heuristic mostly. There are this is a long game. It is 6 2-hour long episodes. There are good puzzles in this, but compared to kind of the classic kind of era of the genre, you are kind of following a little bit more of a routine in this, primarily because the amount of places you can go is relatively small. Very a lot fewer characters that you can interact with, and there's like funny stuff to look at in the environment, which you want to do because it gives you Sam and Max patter whenever you observe something most of the time. But most of the things that you can pick up, it is pretty clear what you are going to do with them.
It's actually, this is moving on to summations and stuff, but it ends up being like a really fun cartoon that's a pretty lousy adventure game.
Right.
There's some good puzzles in it, but it did not, even when this came out, did not scratch my adventure game itch. And they got better at it.
Yep.
We'll talk about that when we talk about the sequels to this. But this first one, which is worth talking about because it brought these characters back, first Telltale adventure game like this.
Yeah.
Is they didn't quite have it.
No.
They do keep the LucasArts ethos of making it so you can't die. You cannot die. You cannot reach an unwinnable state. This is not a punishing game.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of meant to be gentler, giving people an on ramp, kind of in to get those sweet jokes. This is kind of just a hallmark of Telltale design. Early in a series, they will try and do action scenes, and then they will feather those back until they're entirely gone by the end. But in this one, there were like in the early episodes, there were driving sequences in the Pear's DeSoto Adventure, their cool classic police car. But those kind of fade away because those are not good in adventure games by and large.
Barely interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't great in full throttle. They're not great here. And you had a lot of time to learn from that.
Yeah.
We allude to this being episodic. Everybody remember that? That was a big thing around the end of the aughts.
Yeah.
Everything had to be episodic. This is episodic, and what that means is each episode has kind of similar rhythms. We're going to be introduced to the same characters and different roles, the same things we can comment on each time that will have a new joke to it, which gives it this kind of rhythm. One of the things in disclosure mode, like Cole and I both play this in the worst possible way to play it. I would recommend if you want to play this, it's a good game, like it's fun and it's funny, give yourself some real breathing room.
Yeah.
Between the episodes.
Yeah. I put, I did it one episode a day. Like when these initially came out, it was months in between. It was like the original release schedule was a month. And then they kind of drifted as it went on.
Yeah. I think that would be ideal.
Yeah.
So I never did more than one episode in a day either, but that was still a little bit too quick. I wasn't fully appreciating these kind of repeating gags and stuff that would come because I didn't have enough like rust period.
Yes.
Between them.
Yeah. Which is funny because you're not going, if you're trying to recreate this, it is not going it's not like you're going to re-release this on the original schedule. It's not like a classic MMO server or something like that.
Yeah. It'd be very weird.
Yeah.
If they made me wait.
It would.
Because I got a subscription for it. I should have just timed it out myself.
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah. The intended effect though is kind of for this to be like a Saturday morning, cartoon where the wacky neighbor has a different, just a fixation every week, etc. Right. Yeah.
And the other wacky neighbor has a different fixation every week.
Yes.
Because Sam and Max are surrounded by wacky neighbors.
Yes. Inside you, there are two wacky neighbors. And it's not just characters who are conserved. There are also returning spaces. You spend a lot of time in Sam and Max's rundown neighborhood. There are, third and fourth locations that you go to that can be that are different per every episode. But something that is clear when you're looking at this, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the development of this game, this is a really kind of budget forward kind of deal. And it was criticized for that at the time as well.
Yeah. it makes sense. Like this being, a return to form for a genre that was less than popular.
Yes.
So the big thing, the pillars of this game are the puzzles and the writing. Puzzles are pretty uneven. We're going to get to them as we get to them, as we talk about the episodes. I think they're pretty disappointing. There's not a whole lot that I was like, hell yeah. And part of it is just my puzzle out for the year, feeling.
True.
Like these aren't hard by any means, but I think that I might have, smiled out loud at more of the puzzle parts of it if I hadn't been puzzled out.
True.
A little bit.
Yeah.
In general, though, like I think there are no great shakes, and it's almost entirely because of that lack of space, like lack of objects, lack of characters, lack of locations. Constraining the possibility space.
Yes.
Of things.
Yeah.
What carries the game, though, the good thing is the writing. This still feels exactly like Sam and Max. If you watch the cartoon or read the comics or played Hit the Road, these characters are still these characters, and they're a delight.
Yeah. Any time that I can spend with Sam and Max is going to, at the very least, partially be good time. Like, these are incredibly charming characters that, kind of never disappoint. Because they're just really well put together, like their dynamic is at the center of this, and their dynamic is pure and good.
Yes, absolutely. They're a comedy duo, like in the olden times.
Yeah, kind of like a vaudeville thing where you have a straight man and a funny man. The straight man feeds the funny man kind of setups, so the funny man will do punchlines, right? The funny man is wackier, a little bit less in touch with reality, but kind of one of the twists here is that Sam, the dog, kind of in a Joe Friday kind of mode, classic noir detective kind of guy, he's only a little bit more with it than Max, who is wildly erratic and compulsive and violent and stuff.
Yeah. Max is an animaniac.
Yes.
Like big animaniacs energy to a lot of this. Whereas Sam is like a low key psychopath.
Yes.
It reminds me a little bit of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I get your dentist being slightly smarter, but also like 100% a psychopath.
Yeah. Completely morally bankrupt. The lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both morally bankrupt. These aren't good people or anything.
No. I mean, and it makes them perfect adventure game kind of protagonists, right?
Exactly.
I think more so than kind of any of them, they hit that balance. Where Guybrush Threepwood is kind of entirely hapless, and say Jimmy Full Throttle. God, I forget his name. What's his name?
Oh boy! Well, now that you put me on the spot, it's not Hoagie.
Yeah,
this guy looks like him.
I'm okay with that game. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, been a minute since I played it.
Yeah. But no, but these two working together, are just really good adventure game protagonists, where they are both morally bankrupt and extremely self-aware and genre aware.
Yeah, and willing to steal and do whatever needs to be done without really thinking about it.
Fuck with people.
Yeah. And that they're good friends. It's a sweet relationship.
I just love how
I found out during the research of this that people ship these two characters.
Yeah.
And I tweeted about it, and somebody really took a stranger to school on Twitter. Just it searched and found me and just really decided to give me a good talking to about it. But I think that they have a pure and good relationship. It's very hard for me to imagine romantic inner lives for these characters, but people do. Apparently, to me, they were just sweet friends.
Yeah,
like a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid kind of thing.
Yeah, and they've always got each other's back. They're never really at odds. Like, yes, Sam kind of acts as a bit of a limiter on Max, and Max kind of exists to to reveal the worst side of Sam, but like all of their interactions kind of always end with "you crack me up, little buddy," or "sometimes you're too much," but like never actually like meaning it. They're just they're buddies, they're partners,
It's time for us to stop being friends because you're too dangerous. I don't respect your disrespect for human life, little buddy. It's little buddy. It's time for us to have a talk. It's an intervention, little buddy.
Yeah.
There's none of that stuff.
And they're great at setting each other up for jokes, because they have this kind of episodic job, where they're always taking cases, and because, Max is kind of capable of anything and Sam is just kind of always along for the ride and enabling him. Like, they generally always have a gag ready to put up there. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the school of humor. This is like very fast paced. If something doesn't stick, just wait a moment. Like, it's not like every joke in this is laugh out loud amazing.
Some of it's real 90s,
Yeah, some of it's very 90s. Or even it's weird because it's mid 2000s, and boy, is it like it's making fun of TV in a way that feels totally alien.
Yep.
Now, just completely like the targets of the time in a way that can feel pretty dated.
Yeah.
But the cumulative effect is just very charming.
Yes.
Like, it feels like, I think this is what people who are not me get from Nick at Night. Like this kind of warm bath, non-offensive, gentle stream of nonstop jokes.
It's generous of you to say that Nick at Night has jokes.
Every once in a while, I think there's something. Well, the studio audience laughs sometimes, so I assume it's a joke. I don't think it's that funny.
It's
that
a psyop, man.
The guy from All in the Family is yelling at his knucklehead.
Yeah, man,
his son-in-law, and he's real mad at him.
Meathead. Pinko meathead.
Pinko meathead. Pinko knuckle pink. Pink knuckle.
Pink knuckle.
He keeps calling him pink knuckle.
That ham joint down the street.
the real tuna can I got for a son-in-law. It's there is something very dated about it that manages to be charming as opposed to All in the Family is what I mean.
Yeah. And it's stated these guys go back to the 80s. They are have been established. Steve Brazell has been writing for them for a very long time. Going to advertise for another show here. If you would like a kind of more comprehensive history of Sam and Max, specifically Sam and Max Hit the Road, I did appear on Retronauts 286 about Sam and Max Hit the Road. That was from March of 2020. And Bob is a consummately good researcher, and he pulled up a lot of cool stuff that I would not have known how to find. So if you want that crash course, go there.
Yeah, you can tell that Bob loves you more than me because you get to be on the Sam and Max Hit the Road episode, and I get to be on the Zach McCracken episode. Just for making the mistake of mentioning that I know Zach McCracken. So I got to play the worst LucasArts adventure game.
Now you know it's a mistake. Yes. Yeah. I was on.
I know what I'm worth.
I was on Sam and Max, and I was on Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
I'm fine missing that one.
Yeah. You don't have
that's kind of my Zach McCracken.
Yes,
to me.
Yeah. So you can check that out if you want. Well, we'll do kind of a broad strokes version of it here too, because it's an interesting story. Like Steve Purcell started Sam and Max as a kind of an indie comic back in the 80s. Like his brother was the one who kind of came up with the idea of a dog cop and a bunny cop, and he just kind of ran with it and developed it. And Purcell was working as an illustrator at Lucasfilm Games, hereafter LucasArts, because nobody calls it Lucasfilm anymore. And he was making these strips, these comic books, just with these wacky detective stories. With a lot of humor kind of deriving from kind of like satirical depictions about how tacky American culture is, like pretty similar to The Simpsons, and kind of a lot of stuff at the time, just kind of like, let's say, like gentle but incisive satire, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So they ended up showing up in the LucasArts Adventure newsletter, which, like, God, to get my hand on a copy, a bunch of those. And these were very popular strips. So Purcell got a chance to make his own Scum game, which, we talked about. Sam and Max Hit the Road. It is a classic. LucasArts adventure game. We'll probably do it at some point once enough time has passed since the Retronauts episode. We won't feel like we're stepping on steez, and then much later, LucasArts was in the process of developing a 3D follow-up to this. Sam & Max Freelance Police, LucasArts 3D. I don't want that.
Pump the brakes. Yeah.
So luckily, they got restructured and the adventure game division was dissolved.
Luckily, all those talented people lost their jobs.
Yeah, it's not luckily, but also I did not want a Grim Fandango Freelance Police. Yeah, that model did not work.
Would have been rough. But yeah. Several of these LucasArts staff members are like, dang, we want to make adventure games, but LucasArts won't let us do that anymore. So they formed Telltale Games. That's right, the Walking Dead company, to kind of independently make those games. And Telltale's kind of original staff and founders, like it was largely the team that was working on Freelance Police. So you have Brendan Q. Ferguson, Dave Grossman, legendary Dave Grossman from Monkey Island, Steve Purcell, creator of Sam & Max. They just all went over to this new company and, decided, let's do it. Let's keep Sam & Max going.
Yeah. And they managed to get the Sam & Max part of the license, but the project couldn't be Freelance Police because LucasArts still had the rights. They were probably going to do like Luke and Chewie Freelance Police or some horse shit.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let them have that. So they had to switch it to Save the World. And the Telltale, their gimmick initially was this episodic release schedule. This kind of experiment because digital distribution was a new thing. And the idea was this would give them edge and kind of budgetary and PR reasons. They could also adjust. So they could put out an episode and then take that feedback and adjust episode 2.
Yes.
Or what have you.
Yeah. And Telltale would continue doing episodic stuff until their demise many years later. So Save the World was originally called Season 1. Like they were coming out you're pretty confident that there was going to be more, and they were right. They renamed it Save the World when the other seasons came along and had their own kind of subtitles. Those other 2 seasons are Beyond Time and Space and The Devil's Playhouse, and those are really highly regarded. Specifically, Bob Mackey of Retronauts says that like season 3, it like playing it will make you upset that Telltale took a turn away from the classic adventure game kind of style because they figured it out.
It's basically an adventure game.
Yeah.
Like it eliminates a lot of the problems and kind of compromises of season 1 of this. Like I don't think I finished it. I think because I was playing these when these came out. Like I was excited when these came out. This was I was contemporaneous with this.
Yeah.
And followed them for quite a while. Something made me fall off. It could have just been a life circumstance.
Yeah.
But I remember really loving The Devil's Playhouse, and I should go back to it. Yeah. This is because, Telltale has gone through these different phases. This is their early phase when they were making scaled back, bite-sized traditional adventure games with these licenses that were well loved.
Yeah.
So, they had they had Monkey Island, and then they also expanded into non-adventure game stuff. There's a Bone game. There's a Homestar Runner game that's really well regarded.
Oh, I love Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people.
It's got a really good reputation.
We probably won't do it on the show because you're not as affectionate for Homestar Runner as I am, but don't rule out a stream.
Yeah, I do not get it, but maybe that is what would make me get it. I'm just a little bit older than you. That's all it is. And then Wallace and Gromit as well. Those claymation fucks.
Those clay fucks.
those clay morons.
I do. Yeah, look at me. I'm scared of a penguin, and I think Wallace and Gromit are fine.
I've never got that either.
No?
People, it's like I think I'm just supposed to like the animation, but they're no jokes. They get hurt. I get that part. Like I understand slapstick in theory,
but Gary, the pants.
No, I get that. And then one of them's very British and very like understated. And the other one doesn't say anything.
Right.
So in comparison, like one of them's pretty overstated, but yeah, I've never really got Wallace and Gromit.
But Wednesday,
I like the name Gromit.
Wednesday gets such a specific brand of cheese, Gary.
Yeah. I just don't like, they're very British. They're extremely British, and I will give them that. I get that. I just need a little bit more to my humor. Fleabag's real British, and that show's great. There are jokes in it.
Yeah.
Brett Gelman.
So Telltale kind of started getting bigger. They got ahead of steam. They started making these games with bigger licenses, like Back to the Future and Jurassic Park, both of which are not that great from what I understand.
People really dislike them, even though the Back to the Future one is lauded for its like voice acting.
Yeah,
the Jurassic Park one I think is widely considered to be the worst one, which gives me a morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
And
also,
of course,
like,
the big breakthrough was The Walking Dead.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and that's no, it's fine. And they started. That's what kind of got them going into kind of making these more cinematic adventure games that were less about puzzles, and more about kind of enacting these dramatic scenes and making kind of narrative decisions. And after they hit that, they started, and kind of like everything was made out of that. And they continued hitting heavy with the licenses. Like they had Guardians of the Galaxy, they had Batman, like just to
Game
tell
of
those,
Thrones.
yeah, Game of Thrones, just a real interesting studio. Minecraft, which like I'm kind of joking about, but also like at that time there wasn't anything bigger that you could have fucked with from like a big money standpoint.
It's pretty wild,
Yeah.
and a bunch of those games are like pretty weird. If you play them, some of them are good. Like I stuck with them for because I love The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
stuck with these for a while, and then eventually got disillusioned.
yeah.
With them, but like there's good stuff there. Like the Wolf Among Us, the Fables one. That's like a good game. There's good shit in there. And then there's also like the Batman game that they did, which is like pretty mediocre, and the Game of Thrones game, which is pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
It's a weird time. I remember at the time I was like, Telltale's Venture Brothers, like let's do it.
100%. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I think that would work really well.
Yeah,
get all the voice actors and stuff.
They got Brock Sampson in for one of the poker games.
Yeah. Which also we have to do for Abject Suffering at some point.
We
do. That's also Cinder Elf's request. It's really interesting the trajectory that Telltale went on towards moving entirely to narrative games, because it makes me think about way back in the day when we first talked to Ron Gilbert, and he talked about how adventure games are about the story.
Yeah.
To him, it's not about the puzzles. And I didn't, I love that man. I did not pick that up from like Maniac Mansion.
Right.
I think that is about the world and the characters and the tone, but it also very much is about what you're doing, the puzzles. And it feels like the adventure games caught up with his vision.
Yeah.
In a weird way, or what he felt about them. In a very strange, like eventually then they just became only about the story.
It's and it's very funny that after that happened. I mean, this happened pretty much right around the time that Telltale was in a nosedive. Like Ron Gilbert came around and was like, "Yeah, Thimbleweed Park, fuck it." One of the most like mechanically interesting and like hyper intricate puzzle based adventure games.
I feel like Thimbleweed Park is the merge that he wanted.
Yeah.
Like it is mechanically intricate and great, like from a puzzle design perspective, but also has a really strong story.
Yes.
Like you get that sense that like, I feel good for him. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was all Telltale was huge. Like it's kind of hard to overstate. There are probably people who are younger than us who got into games and didn't live through this.
Yeah.
But Telltale was a really big deal for a while. And then due to some bad decisions and shitty capitalism reasons, they just totally dissolved in 2018. They, and it took everyone by surprise. It was a huge story when it came out. Like, what the hell happened? How could this happen?
Because like they had just recently required like big licenses and also announced big new projects. And that's not something that you do if you're having trouble, right?
Yeah. Yep. Big bummer. So just a couple of years ago. However, one of the co-founders, Dan Connors, made something called Skunk Ape Games in 2020 with the idea of picking up on all this Telltale stuff, like where they left off.
Yeah. And their first project, they decided, hey, let's bring Sam and Max to modern systems. But the engine and the assets were all outdated, made back in 2006. Stuff was different then. And it just kind of became easier to recreate the whole thing for higher resolution. And that gave us Sam and Max Save the World remastered, I think is what it is.
Yeah, which is what I played
Same.
for this.
Because it's on the Switch.
I didn't actually play this on Switch.
Ooh.
It would have been a good Switch game. Yeah, I
Yeah.
played this on my computer. So new art assets came with this version. They even had some new music from the original composer, Jared Emerson Johnson, and it did really well. So Suncape is working on remastering the later seasons. So we'll get the rest. Probably get the rest of these Sam & Max games in remastered version.
Yes. And it wasn't until I was putting these notes together that I saw that there is a VR Sam & Max game called This Time It's Virtual. So I'll have to check that out once it goes on sale and loses the VR game premium.
Yeah, I could see that working and being fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through all 6 episodes. We're going to keep up some of the pace for this because I don't want this episode to end up feeling
like a
repetitive and like kind of awkward as we're constantly resetting gears. These do tell one big story as you go through, but it doesn't seem that way at first.
No.
And this is the first time we've covered something like this in the show where we're just doing these little chapters. So if we miss your favorite, especially like a background gag, like you click on something in the background and Sam says something funny. No, he does. We know. We just might not mention it. I clicked on all the stuff because that's what I was here for. But we might miss your specific favorite, and that's a good opportunity to write in.
It is. Yeah. So we open with episode 1. This is called Culture Shock. I do enjoy the opening credit sequence, kind of that monochrome of them driving down the street with the credits. I do wish it was skippable along with the credits, and I do wish that you didn't have to watch it every time.
It does seem, it's the thing that stopped me from watching all of Decker.
Oh yeah,
is just credits. Something serialized like an episodic. Like I want to cut where they put them all together pretty badly.
Yeah.
We open up with Sam trying to shoot an apple off of Max's head. They get a phone call, but the phone isn't there. And we're introduced to one of our supporting characters here, Jimmy Two Teeth, who is a rat who lives in their office, who has taken the phone hostage.
Yeah.
And he wants cheese because he's a rat.
Yes.
He wants Swiss cheese.
Specifically Swiss cheese.
This is our tutorial. Just how to walk around the office, how to use your inventory, stuff like that. Like you can't really leave until we do this thing.
Right. Because we got to get the case. I love Sam and Max fighting over the phone because as somebody who grew up with a brother, that is absolutely something that you do. Just wrestling and hitting each other because you want to be the one who answers the phone for some reason.
I love the commissioner.
Oh, the commissioner. You never get to
like
hear
the
him.
shadowy commissioner
who knows everything.
Like it's very funny that they keep getting calls from the commissioner.
Yeah.
And like they're freelance police. They're just going around shooting people and like destroying everything. I don't know who this commissioner is.
Yeah.
Freelance commissioner.
We get kind of our first kind of introduction to adventure game logic here because, Max has just picked up a bunch of cheese wedges for lol random reasons. And it's not Swiss cheese. However, you can just use Sam's gun to take a shot at it to fill it with holes. And boom, there you have Swiss cheese. Yeah.
So we can get the phone. Finally, one of the things we can do every episode is check the TV. They'll be showing different ads and things. This one is showing ads for a self-help book called Emetics. We're going to learn a lot more about that ties into the macro plot.
Yes.
Here. When we go to Jimmy Two Teeth, he does not want to give us the phone. He has more demands. So we can do this little interrogation where this is introducing us to the dialogue system. We talk as Sam, but there's a little bit of where we can click to Max and have him say things. This is rarely does this come up. I think I would have liked a few more dialogue puzzles.
Yes.
In this, it only happens a couple times, and it's cool when it does. When I realize, like, oh, I can click on Max, and get some of that flavor.
Yeah, going over to Max is almost entirely just here's 4 extra jokes.
Yes,
yeah,
and we talked about that with LucasArts stuff. The way that they do dialogue is an approach to tell a lot of jokes without only committing to one.
Yes. But Max, through this dialogue, discovers that Jimmy's afraid of heights, so he dangles him out the window, and then ultimately drops him because he gets distracted when the phone comes out. And the commissioner calls, describing, hey, there are a number of people in the neighborhood who are committing crimes. There's just general havoc going on around, and you need to get it under control.
Yeah. So we head out. And we see these characters. They're going to be kind of recurring characters, but definitely our main characters for this first episode. These little guys in soda jerk costumes that were 70s child actors for a TV show called The Soda Poppers, which sounds just like a nightmare. Like, it's mostly about them like pissing and like, having bug eyes and shit.
Yeah.
Real creepy little fucks.
Yeah. Little
these
pet
guys.
boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I do not like these tiny pet boys. Yeah. Fellas. Where are you going at this time of night? Soda Poppers, no good.
Don't scratch your heads. The Soda Poppers. Yeah. But they're kind of there's one in each of the points of interest. Like, out on the street, we've got a guy named Specs who is spray painting a picture onto the wall, spray painting kind of this portrait of a guru named Brady Culture, who has invented IBO, which is, just put yourself back in the mid 2000s when jokes about Tybo were funny.
Huge. I was watching like an old Simpsons and they were talking about Tybo, and I was like, man, that really was a thing.
Yeah.
And IBO, it lets you like see colors that don't exist and speed read and stuff. But he's clearly hypnotized. Like, you talk to him and he's like, I can't stop painting this picture. That's all I want to do.
I love, you can ask him, is this art or advertising? And he says, what's the difference?
Good point, little buddy. We can head over to one of our neighbors in a psychologist office. And this one, Peepers, who just has big gross bug eyes, like Innsmouth Soda Popper, is claiming to be this analyst named Sybil Pandemic. But we know that he's Peepers from the show. Sybil is going to be one of our major recurring characters over here.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting this is a psychologist's office, and it used to be a tattoo parlor. And there's evidence of that everywhere.
Of course. Yeah. And the final soda popper we're going to have to deal with is over in the inconvenience store run by Bosco. And this is Whizzer. He is bringing Brady Coulter's IBO tapes into the store, even though Bosco, the person who runs the store, doesn't want that to happen. Whizzer's whole gimmick is he's got to piss. He's addicted to soda and he has to piss.
He moves fast and he makes the big pee. Like, he pees. And that's a puzzle. It's an adventure element. It's his big piss. Whizzer's big piss is what they should have called this game. So we have to go deal with these three things. We go to Sybil's psychotherapy. The real Sybil is locked in a closet. We let her out, but Peepers is still there claiming to be the real Sybil.
Yes.
Sybil is a fun character. She's going to have a new job each episode. And she quit. She was a tattoo artist, and she quit after she misheard somebody who wanted a ship on their chest. Pretty good.
Yep.
But because she's a psychotherapist, she knows that Peepers has been hypnotized, and the only cure is to knock him out and reprogram him like a cartoon.
Yeah. But we can't get close to him because I see you. Because of his big old eyes.
Shoot the fucker. Like, I just.
It's funny. So, you can, like, when you use your gun, you can just shoot at anything in the environment as long as it's interactable, but Sam will not shoot at living things.
Yeah. Wuss. Bosco's is a source of fun. Just the joke that always sticks in my head is outside of it, there's a vending machine, a little like quarter machine that has Boston baked beans in it, and then eventually we'll get other things. Yeah, but a very classic Sam delivery where like Mac's like, "How do they keep them fresh?" And he's like, "They don't." And then they move on. I always appreciate that. Yep. And Bosco is a fun character. Yeah. He is paranoid that the government's going to get him, and he'll start disguising himself to give us different flavor each episode.
Different flavor of Bosco. and he is very convinced that his disguises are convincing. He always does an aside like, "Hey guys, it's me, Bosco." Kind of a Dale Gribble type. He's upset, like we said, that Whizzer is just filling up his store with these tapes. He's got this security system called BTADS, but it is not supposed to prevent things from coming in. It's supposed to prevent things from going out. Shoplifting. So like if anybody tries to shoplifting, they're going to get bonked by a big old boxing glove.
Yes. Yeah. And this will also be a puzzle element later. He sells something secret every episode, which is the joke here is that it sounds really high tech and he charges a lot of money for it, but it's a very low tech solution to a problem. Here it's a tear gas grenade launcher and he's selling it for $10,000, which we do not have.
Right.
So they'll give you a hint. They'll say, hey, we need to go give some tickets to some white collar criminals. So we do a mini game where we shoot out a tail light and then ticket a character for the tail light. They're a drug dealer. Like their license plate is something like D dealer or something like that. And they basically pay you off so you don't call the real police because they are a drug dealer.
I think that there are multiple guys you can get because my guy didn't do that. I think he was
really?
I think he was an embezzler or something like that.
They have vanity plates that are like embezzler, with no vowels, stuff like that.
The D&D dealer stands for drug dealer.
Yeah. D dealer war. D war.
Oh man. So that's our driving mini game. Fortunately, it's short. It's meant to be kind of like trial and error a little bit. Like you pull somebody over and they're like, "Hey, what's my crime?" And one of the options is your tail lights out, but obviously it doesn't. So you just have to be crooked, like Sam and Max would be.
Yeah. When you get the money, you can go buy the tear gas grenade launcher, which is a salad shooter that shoots an onion in people's faces to make them cry. Cute.
Yep. You can take one of Whizzer's tapes because they're free. He just wants to spread the message of Brady culture, and you can go back and put it into your little TV. And you find out, Brady culture is this guy with a huge fro. He's another child star, but the tape, it's not like instructions. It's just hypnosis, like saying you love Brady culture, you worship Brady culture, and it actually ensnares Jimmy Two Teeth because he's the one who's standing right in front of the TV. So
we leave. Like you put in the tape, and then you're like, oh no, I can't make an excuse to leave.
Yeah,
so we don't see it. So we know who's behind the conspiracy. We need to rescue the soda poppers here, which gives us our 3 tasks. And they each have an individual problem. Peepers won't let us come near him. We have a boxing glove that we pick up to knock people out, but we can't get close to him because he'll see us. But we can distract him and shoot the tear gas grenade at him, so he cries and then can bop him.
Yes.
And when he comes to, Sybil teaches us how to deprogram people. And he says that the last thing he remembers was checking into Brady Culture's home for former child stars.
Right. And after each of these knockouts, we're going to get a cutaway to Brady Culture, who is watching this happen, commenting about how great his plan is and working on his evil laugh. It's funny how quickly Brady Culture just disappears after this.
He's not really a thing.
No,
they were figuring it out. It's weird because they're planting the seeds, for Hugh Bliss. And I was expecting Brady Culture to come back as a disciple of Hugh Bliss.
Yeah.
In some way, but yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Specs is easier because you don't have to buy a $10,000 salad shooter. Everything you need is right there. He's a perfectionist. As that was like his thing on the show. So you can use spray paint to mess up the graffiti portrait, which is right under your office window where you dropped Jimmy before. Then you just drop a bowling ball on him, straight up murdering his ass.
Yes. Yeah. You crush his skull like you midsummer him. Whizzer, we cannot use either of the things because he zips around too much because he has caffeine, he has soda rush or sugar rush. So when he goes outside, eventually we have to use the bathroom. We have to send Max into the bathroom to give him the idea of using the bathroom here, which makes Wizard have to hold it a little bit longer. Not Wizard. Makes Wizard, name of Wizard. I have to hold it a little bit longer. And then when he goes inside, we get to put the unbuyable cheese in his crate, trick him into shoplifting.
Yeah.
So the BTADs will knock him out.
Yeah. If you try to buy this cheese, Bosco requires like 6 forms of ID. So it is not meant to be taken out of the store. But yeah, he gets bopped. And you can do these in any order that you would like to. But the last one will always kind of get into his van, and you have to do a little car chase, avoiding these crates that they're throwing out behind them.
Yeah. That when you're driving, you cannot steer and shoot at the same time.
Right.
You have Max take the wheel. And when you're doing this, you won't speed up. You'll still hit crates and stuff. So there's a little bit of like gameplay here. The big thing is you're seeing that they go to, this is where you locate Brady Culture's home for former child stars. It's this old theater. You cannot get in there unless you get a diagnosis for a specific personality disorder with randomized elements. This is such a cute idea for an adventure game puzzle, unless you have to do it twice. Like I did it first just for fun because I was like, hey, analyze me. And I went through all the things.
Yeah.
And then went back and got the randomized set of, personality disorder things. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do all of those things again just to choose the different answers. I ended up finding this pretty sloppy.
Yeah.
And a little obnoxious. Like there's good jokes in it, but like, boy.
They could have found a way to stop you from doing all the inputs, because it just, like, when you do it and you see like, oh, they made assets for this is supposed to be a gameplay element. Yeah, it's pretty involved if you're just doing it for fun.
Why are you letting me psychoanalyze myself before you need to? Like it would have made a lot of sense for me just to be like, okay, now the characters are dumb, but they're not so dumb that they don't understand. Like, hey, let's fake our way into this disorder.
Yeah, but you go to Sybil and you're just gunning for a particular diagnosis, and you run through these tests. So like she'll bring up ink blots. So like if one of them is like an obsession with authority, like you just say like, oh, this was like a cop standing on my neck or something like that.
Yeah.
There's free association where you can just say whatever word you want to get the obsession you need to get. And then the most involved is this dream analysis, where you have to like walk through a dream version of the office and like say what you're seeing, replacing these shadow versions of stuff with things that are going to confirm.
The best one of those is that for some reason you think of Bosco as your dad, and there's all these things where it's like, now son, go mow the lawn, or like, and he keeps saying it, and then later there's a callback where Bosco appears in the fish tank and talks to you as your dad. It's very funny on the fish bowl. When we get the things, we can go into the theater. As soon as we get in, though, Brady hypnotizes Sam to make him start delivering videos. Max is immune. Max cannot be hypnotized because his brain is too wacky.
Yeah. So Max will be in this kind of loop of, compulsively bringing crates and crates of videos into Bosco's, and you can only interact with stuff when he is passing by it. And the only thing you can really do is, grab this cheese and put it in your crate. So Sam will be knocked out.
Yes. So then we have to exercise Brady culture out of Sam's head by killing the dream versions of him inside your dream office. Yeah. These are very simple puzzles with Brady Culture's head replacing certain things.
Yep.
Like Max is on the ceiling, his head is a lamp, and such.
Yeah.
These are very simple. Once you do these, Sybil will give you a diagram for an anti-hypnosis helmet. And Bosco will make it for you if you get the coat hanger from your TV.
Yeah, I love the helmet. It's just a colander with a coat hanger antenna.
There's a lot of shitty inventions in this game.
I love it. It always works on me.
Yeah, I like a shitty invention.
So you go in and you're immune, but Brady captures Max and he has him tied up on this stage, and the rehypnotized soda poppers are standing in your way. If you try and do anything, Brady Culture will, issue his hypnotic orders, sending the soda poppers to attack you. And like you have to do this little hypno duel with him, issuing commands to the soda poppers. And each time Brady Culture issues a command or like, addresses something, that is added to your kind of like palette of verbs and nouns.
Yeah. So basically, you Looney Tunes them. If you say like, worship me, then he'll be like, no, me, worship me. And you trick him into doing that and then saying, attack me. And then he goes, no, attack me. What the? The way this is the way this articulates. This first episode of this, I think, is not great.
Yeah, it's a real growing
This gets way
pains.
better.
Like, I mean, in a lot of regards, like even down to the voice acting, like they got new voice actors for both Sam and Max because, I mean, it had been, like 15 years since they did Sam and Max Hit the Road. Those actors were doing different stuff. I think even Max's voice actor had like health problems by that point. They were like, they were trying to find their voice in a lot of different ways in this first episode. Yeah.
This puzzle is lame to me.
Oh yeah.
I do not care for this. I don't like watching the little animations every time when you're experimenting.
Yeah.
And it's just very artificial. Like everyone just stands still yelling at each other.
Yep.
Instead of doing anything. And like you have a gun. It's real weird. I do not care for this.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in episode 1, but it's probably the weakest one to me. After you get him to attack Soda Poppers to attack him, you can rescue Max, and then it ends. So we've taken out Brady culture. The camera zooms in on a TV where a hypnotized man heaps praise on this talk show host named Myra, setting us up for episode 2, situation comedy.
Yeah, each of the episodes is going to end with kind of this.
You okay there, buddy?
Yeah, sorry, I left a marker.
You checking Twitter?
No, I left a marker and a spot for me to put in a break, but now we're calling attention to it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and see, ruined it for everybody. Now, each of these episodes ends with a kind of a stinger, kind of leading us in to the main thread for the next one. As we're going around from a hypnosis-based plot to hypnosis-based plot. And we're moving on to situation comedy, where Sam and Max are kind of having this showdown. Sam has the salad shooter, and Max has a gun.
I love that.
Yeah. But the commissioner calls, and today's culprit is the Oprah-like talk show host, Myra Hawke, daytime talk show host who is holding a whole studio audience hostage and giving them valuable gifts against their collective will.
Yeah, this is a very funny idea. Like, oh, when I gave you a car, you liked it. So we head to the WARP station and talk to the director who's there, who has to do everything alone for multiple shows. Myra has taken the entire crew as part of her audience. And she will not let us further into the studio unless we actually work there. But she also happens to be holding auditions for the lead roles in a sitcom called Midtown Cowboys. I love Midtown Cowboys quite a bit.
It's so good.
It's an idea of these two people who have to hide a cow in their apartment. Very funny to me. Yeah. That's good.
The way you resolve it is fucking disgusting.
It's very gross. But the chicken actor is great. It's very cute.
I love Philo. Yeah. So we can poke around the neighborhood. Sybil has moved on from psychotherapy, and now she is publishing a tabloid called the Alien Love Triangle Times. She talks about like, oh, all of my careers have added up to this. There's a real through line to it, and she's trying to get a big cover story. She wants she wants evidence of little green men carousing with people here. So we're gonna need to get that for her.
We check in on Bosco, and this is the one of the weaknesses of this thing. Like, there's no reason for us to go to Bosco's. We're not looking for anything. Like most of the places you go in this, you just go because what else are you gonna do? Yeah. Which is not great adventure game design, I think. But I do love that, so Bosco is pretending to be English, which is all well and good. But he's hiding from a gang called the Skin Bodies. I got that phrase stuck in my head for like the whole day after I played this episode. I was like, the Skin Bodies.
Yeah, the Skin Bodies.
Ugh. The idea is it's animals that instead of skinheads, they shave their entire bodies to become skin bodies. And they steal his shaving cream. Like, you're going to buy the shaving cream, and one of them steals the shaving cream here. Yeah. He also sells a chemical voice modulator for $1 million. Here, we cannot get a ticket for $1 million. We have to get that elsewise.
Yes. Like you said, when you go to grab the shaving cream, we find out that Jimmy Two Teeth has fallen in with the Skin Bodies. He's a hairless rat now. And he steals it and runs away with his buddy. So we have to chase him down on a car chase. You can't shoot them because they're too nimble, and you can't ram them because they're too quick. So you have to like shoot to make them dodge into an open manhole. So Max can grab the shaving cream out of the air while it hangs there in coyote time.
Yep. Once we have that, this is a solution for something we haven't had yet. When we go to the TV studio, we audition with a scene from Old Yeller. I love all of this stuff with Sam trying to be rabid. Beforehand, where he's like, I'm angry. Like he can't do it. Like he doesn't,
He only has one affect.
Like they're very like guileless critters in some ways.
Yeah.
It's real fun. So you have to use the shaving cream to make him look rabid. Max has to shoot him, and Max has to look sad, and Max can't look sad about shooting somebody. This is his thing.
Yeah.
So you have to use the tear gas to make him sad, and he shoots you like right in the head. Luckily, you still have the hypnosis helmet, which blocks the shot.
Yeah. Between episodes, Sam had worked it into his fedora. So I just like Sam shooting his friend in the head.
No problem.
Yeah. So this gets us access to the entire station, which I like the way that this episode is kind of laid out. Each of the little studios that you can go into is shooting its own show, and because nobody is around, because of Myra, just Sam and Max can star in any of them. Yes.
Yep. Before we can actually get into Myra's place, Myra won't have us on as a guest unless we are multi-hyphenate. We have to have hit TV show, a recording contract, and be involved in a scandal. So thus giving us our three things, similar to last episode.
Yeah.
To get a hit show, we go on Midtown Cowboys, a show about two cowboys who are trying to raise a herd of one cow in the middle of Manhattan, hiding the cow from their prying landlord, Mr. Featherly. The cow ate the script, so we have to ad-lib. And there's a specific line we have to include, which is better get the serious toothpaste, which I like the idea of a serious toothpaste.
It's product placement.
Yeah, exactly. Serious toothpaste. Mr. Featherly is a chicken, who is a Shakespearean actor who's very funny in this as well.
When they reveal that and he just marches out as a chicken in a little sweater and glasses.
It's very good.
Such a good sight gag.
Yeah, real cute. So we have to do these things in a specific sequence to set up the line and set everything up. And the way we do it is by putting a lampshade on the cow's head, and then we say that he is just a French chef, and Mr. Featherly, of course, wants the food. So we put a plate under his waiting asshole, and then he defecates onto it.
Well, there's just a big pile of shit on the apartment floor.
Oh, you're right. We slide the plate under the shit. It's not even fresh.
You slide it under the mud pie.
Yeah, you just take the total mud pie and slide it under the plate under it. It's pretty disgusting.
Even more disgusting. You say like, yes, or oh god, the cow moos, and Mr. Feathers is like, well, gosh, what sound is that? I was like, oh, he was just saying the name. It's Moo Goo Guy Pan.
Yeah.
And we you think it's gonna cut away. No, we get the little cartoon chicken pecking at the cow pie.
Which I was thinking about anthropomorphism in this, because there's no way that chickens don't just actually constantly eat cow shit, because of course they do. They're idiots. It's so much grosser that he talks. This is the kind of thing you could see for free anytime you go down to the farm.
Right.
But if one of those chickens turned to you and was like, I say, this is delicious, that would make it gross. It's already a little gross, but it just happens. I've seen a dog eat dog shit.
Yeah.
You exist in the world. You see animals eat shit. They're kind of dumb. They do that.
Right. Second harvest.
Once one of them talks though.
Oh, but
that immediately turns my stomach.
Well, I mean, once they talk, it implies they understand language, and then it's my responsibility to warn them,
to teach them.
Hey, that's shit.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's no good, man.
Yeah, you gotta teach your chickens well.
Yeah, you can do better than this. I understand chicken feed is not super good.
Right.
But I promise you, it has more nutrients than this.
Nobody should be eating that much corn.
Yeah. Nobody should be eating any shit though. That's a lot of corn, but this is even a small amount of shit.
Yeah,
too much.
The government would look at this sideways, but he realizes what it is. Yep.
Sinclair's the government would look at this sideways. Damn it. That's so passionate. I choked on water, but I want to play it off as I got very passionate. Pardon me.
The fucking nanny state.
The nanny state stopping me from eating all the shit I want. How dare you? I thought this was America, a free country.
But once he realizes what it is, he is like, "Shoot, this is disgusting." And then Max gets to say his line, which satisfies all the requirements. Better get the serious toothpaste because our friend just ate shit. And now we have a tape from our hit show because we satisfied all the criteria. Very fun.
Yeah. We're introduced to the villain of the series. Mm-hmm. We're in this weirdly offside thing when we go to the game show Who's Never Going to Be a Millionaire and meet Hugh Bliss. I'm Hugh Bliss, who is a stage magician who turned into a self-help guru, created prismatology and emetics. The idea is it's all about like unlocking the color of your spectrum, but it allows him to do straight up magic.
Yep.
And Max knows him, and Max absolutely loves him. Sam is rightfully skeptical.
Right. I love how on board Max is for it because it's the only thing he is as enthusiastic about as hurting people. Yeah. But like he can read minds, like he'll prove it in dialogue. He'll always say what you're about to say before you say it. You can have him read Max's, and it's one of the few times that Bliss loses his composure. Like, oh, that's unspeakably depraved. And Max is like, got it in one.
Yeah, very cute.
Yeah.
One of his magic tricks is he can change the color of his skin, so you can make him change his color of his skin to green and then take a picture with him, which counts as scandalous cavorting with an alien.
Yes.
To get the recording contract, we have to win something called Embarrassing Idol, a singing competition. You can see what year this whole thing was made in.
Yeah.
Well, with its American Idol and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. This is judged by the Soda Poppers. And Peepers, who is wants to be a contestant and a judge, but he can't do this, so the director makes Max the judge in his place.
Yes. And
the judges have to be unanimous on this show. So Max will always vote for Sam. Specs, we find out Specs really loves a high note. And Whizzer will always vote for his brother Peepers, which was funny to me. It reminded me of the, I don't know if you ended up watching the Tim and Eric YouTube Tim's Kitchen Tips.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that competition at the end, and he's like, your food was much better, but at the end of the day, I have to work with Tim. So I voted for him because it'd be awkward if I didn't. Like at the end of the competition.
It's so good. Pitzman's mustard. Yeah.
Tony Pitzman.
So those are the criteria. So we've got to get Sam's voice high. This is one of like the details that they pull from the comics and the cartoon that Sam loves bluegrass. So like when he gets up there and sings, he's got a little banjo, So to make his voice high, we're going to need Bosco's voice modulator. But to do that, we're going to need $1 million. So we're going to have to win the Impossible Quiz Show. The actual host is gone, so they've got Hugh Bliss filling in for it. And normally it's all like, how many parts for the chaos machine will satisfy 12 jizztillion, blah blah blah. Just like impossible questions. So you need to sub those out.
Yes, and you do so. This is the first of a couple of different cue card puzzles in this. You take Peepers' lyric cue card. The first line is "Am I blue?" and you have Hugh Bliss turn blue, and then have him read that cue card. So you get less win the competition. They do not have the cash on hand, but they give you the prize in food stamps, and Bosco accepts this here. The voice modulator, however, is just an inhaler hooked up to a helium balloon, which is a voice modulator.
Yeah.
And you just pick your lines to have Sam sing the long vowels with the high pitch.
Yes.
There.
And
it's high enough to break Specs' glasses and win that.
Yeah.
Whizzer, however, is tougher. Whizzer will always vote for his brother.
So we need to poison him.
Yes.
You can talk to him and, yes, I'll always vote for my brother, but he's, kind of bitter because they didn't remember his birthday. So it is his birthday and nobody gave him a cake or anything. So we need to bring him a cake. We also learned that he is deathly allergic to tomatoes. Like, he was put out of commission for a whole day because he had a cucumber that was on a plate next to some tomatoes.
Yes. Yeah. So you go to the cooking show, so they're cooking without looking, which is specialized on cooking for bachelors who don't have any natural ingredients. Feel seen in this. And you pick out a bunch of fun ingredients, but the big thing is to take the cake and bring it to Bosco's and use the ketchup dispenser to frost it. Pretty gross. But this gives Whizzer incredible diarrhea. So there's only 2 judges.
Yes. Timeout for number 2.
Timeout for number 2. And that is how Sam wins.
Yes. And we have all of the things that we need for their to get onto Myra's. And, she doesn't, she never stops talking. She'll like get you into into a loop. I love when you're selecting your dialogue, she goes blah, blah, blah. And you can hear the voice actress laugh at just being saying blah, blah, blah over and over again. But she has talked so much that her microphone is sparking from overuse. And when we get inside, we also see that there is this strange teddy bear with hypno eyes on her desk. So that is that is what's keeping her and everybody else under her sway. So we need to take care of it, but we cannot get close to it. We need to find a way to destroy it from a distance.
Yeah. So the way you do this is you ask to sing a song. With your super high voice, you'll blow up her water glass, which makes a puddle between the microphone and the teddy bear. Conduction. And then you bring up the scandalous alien photo and you can say, hey, actually, there's somebody else there. The cow from the sitcom. And she's like, oh, shit, we should bring the cow out. The cow happens to knock the microphone into the puddle. I don't think there's any way you could have really planned for the cow to do that specifically.
No. Little loose.
This is also pretty questionable puzzle content here at the finale.
Yeah.
I'll go as far as say the finales of these tend to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like there's good puzzles in the meat of them. The endings are always a little bit counterintuitive and annoying.
They just get you into these inescapable situations where you have to find really stretchy, like even beyond adventure game stretchy uses for the limited items that are available to you.
Yeah. Yep. So this does it. This takes out the teddy bear and shocks her. And when we leave to go to the cooking show to fry some pork rinds up, the camera zooms in on the box that the hypno bear came in from something called the Toy Mafia, setting up episode 3.
The Mole, the Mob, and the Meatball. I don't care for this episode very much.
There's some stuff I like about it, but yeah, it's pretty middle of the road for me. I like what is it, Steakhauser or whatever his name is?
Leonard Steak Charmer. Yeah,
Steak Charmer. I like Steak Charmer a lot. That's another phrase I got stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Quite a bit in this. But yeah, this is not for my money. 4 and 5 are the winners.
Oh God, yeah.
Of these guys. Yeah. But this is so Sam is holding up Max, who is practicing throwing cards into a hat at the beginning of this. The phone rings and they drop an ace down by Jimmy's rat hole. Come in handy later. And the commissioner says that one of their moles in the Toy Mafia has gone silent. We need to suss him out with this code word, find him, and ask if the carpet matches the drapes. That classic question about pubic hair.
Yeah. Asking if the person, because if they dye their hair, there'll be a mismatch between the pubes. And you get to ask that question.
Dye their pubic hair.
Oh, I meant
not a lot of people just do that one, but you could.
You solve the latter. Oh, so the pubic hair was what was the doctor and the mother?
Yeah. You can't operate on this pubic hair. It's the great Clown Pagliacci.
Oh man. So.
If Pagliacci's pubic hair killed itself on the North Pole and there was a melted puddle in the middle of the doctor.
It was the fox. It was the fox who did it. Oh God.
Pagliacci's got to have some wild pubic hair.
I picture it basically just being exactly like his clown wig. I think that the carpet does match the drapes in that case. Yeah.
Like Krusty's pubes. Like I don't really think about clown pubic hair all that often, but it's probably pretty fun. in comparison.
Fun is a good is a good adjective for that.
Yeah, because the normal pubic hair is pretty boring, especially mine because I straightened it. I wanted to look like look like the mod Beatles.
Yeah, you wanted to give it a Beatles cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I went for a real Beatles cut down there. But a clown, they wouldn't be beholden to any of that stuff.
Yeah. It beats my cornrows.
Hey man, don't talk shit about your cornrows. Those are great. like I will not hear you badmouth your pube cornrows.
Yeah, just bright red, like racing stripes.
Pubic.
You there? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about pubic corn.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm distracted because this pocket's distracting me, and also, long episode.
True.
Rough morning as well. So we go to the headquarters, which is Teddy Bear's Mafia Free Playland and Casino. This joke works for me. Mm-hmm. I like this. Everyone is dressed up as a bear, but they're all hard-nosed mobsters.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot get in without a password at first, so we have to go check out the neighborhood.
Yeah. Can't get into the back room specifically. We can play the games, but obviously they're all rigged, except for the one that gives you the useless magnet. Yeah, seemingly useless. So Bosco is a Frenchman now. He's afraid of the toy mafia. What is funny about the Bosco's gag is over time you realize he is absolutely right to be concerned. Like he's dumb and paranoid, but he's always right.
Yeah. The payoff for that in the Lincoln Must Die episode is very funny.
But he believes that they're trying to give him something nefarious, so he has finally modified BTADs to stop non-stock items from coming in, putting them out onto the street.
Mm-hmm. He has a new specialty item, which is a listening device. Costs $10 million. This is the one weird sci-fi thing he comes up with.
Well, it's just a friend that he makes.
Yeah, it's a feat of genetic engineering, the likes of which the world has never seen. And we check in with Sybil, who is a professional trial witness. She's waiting on a call from the DA.
Mm-hmm. So Sam criticizes her for profiting off of our terrible legal system. But he's a cop, so whatever. So we need to get the password to go inside. Whenever we play the one-armed bandit, which I like as a nickname for a slot machine, but also this literal slot machine that looks like a burglar, like from a classic cartoon.
A hamburger.
Yeah, it's got the striped shirt on and everything. But whenever we play this, we win, but it doesn't pay out. And someone from the back steps out. It's the pit boss, I believe, steps out, looks, and then he gives the password to get back in, but we can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah. Yep. So we know where we need to put the the listening device when we eventually get that. Mm-hmm. One of the games that's being played is Indian poker, which is what it's called, against a guy named Leonard Snake Charmer. This is where you put a card on your forehead, you look at the other person's card and try to guess if yours is higher or lower. Mm-hmm. On that. And we see that Leonard Snake Charmer cheats by looking at his card and a reflection on this huge clown nose above the door.
Yeah.
This camera thing. So we take the ace from the office, throw it up on the clown nose, which will cover up his card and make him think he has an ace.
Yes.
So he'll guess incorrectly.
Yeah. Because he was so cocky, because he was cheating, he gives you crazy odds. He gives you 10 million to 1 odds, meaning you get 10 million tokens, which Bosco, for some reason, is compelled to accept.
Yeah. The Bosco just has to take basically whatever you give him. Mm-hmm. This is where he reveals his feat of genetic engineering. His listening device, which is a bug that recreates any voice it hears.
It's a cockroach. It's not like a little device. It's not mechanical in any way. It's just it's a bug that can talk.
It's a friend.
Yeah.
It's a little guy, and he has a military voice as his default. Pretty cute. So we had to place this bug near here. Here's the password, which is leave the gun, take the cannolis, of course. And this allows us to go in and walking back, we get stopped by Chuckles, the pit boss, beforehand. We aren't in the mafia yet, but we can now join. He's looking for people who are long on brains and short on scruples.
Yep, which matches us entirely. So before we can get in, would you believe that there are 3 tasks, Gary?
I would.
Okay.
The idea, like what this made me think of is, you know how on the show we'll talk about how they should make micro JRPGs?
Uh-huh.
You know, like they did basically what they did for Retro Game Challenge. It makes me think of like micro adventure games as an idea. And the trick, you know, this kind of shows that it can be done, but there are so many compromises to this that I don't think it quite scratches the itch. You know, like I'm imagining something with a more traditional adventure game bent, but still small in scope. You know, like on your phone.
Yeah.
You know, what if there was like a 99-cent hour-long actual like LucasArts adventure game, like just a few rooms of Day of the Tentacle?
Yeah.
You know, that might be kind of a neat idea.
Yeah.
So,
but
this is kind of it. It's kind of the closest thing we have.
Yeah, so far anyway. Yeah.
The three jobs is we have to sneak a teddy bear into Bosco's store. We have to kill our friend Sybil. And there's an original meatball sandwich that they've been using the fungus from, like using it like a sourdough starter. That's been stolen.
Yeah.
So we have to get the original meatball sandwich back.
Yes. So I just love that. The original made back in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, gross.
Ugh.
A meatball sandwich starter is funny.
Yeah. So to get around Bosco's security system, we need to get rid of the camera, which we can do. I mentioned that fridge magnet earlier. You can actually get that by winning the shoot the rat game, which is whack-a-mole
with a gun.
Yep. Shooting the rats that are speaking as they pop up. Pretty easy to win. And when you put that magnet on the camera, it will cause BTADS to recognize itself as an outside object, and it will pull the camera out and put it outside, giving you the ability to put to put the bear on Bosco's table, which just ruins Bosco. He is so upset that there's now a bear inside of there.
Yeah, and not upset enough to move it.
Of course,
like he never leaves his little cage. We talked to Sybil again. She's upset. She's supposed to testify against the mafia, you know, and has been, stressed out about this because she's gotten threats.
Yeah.
She talks about, isn't it funny how stress can reduce you to just a bundle of mindless reflexes? Is that what happened to me? Wouldn't it be wonderful to think so? Very, very cute. But she will not stage her own death on her own. We have to do it for her by taking her coffee cup, filling it with ketchup, and then shooting it. She's sprayed with ketchup, and we can then take a picture.
Yes.
Of her.
Yeah. The mafia thinks that we did the hit. So,
yep.
The original meatball sandwich is a little tougher to get. You kind of have to notice that not only is the meatball sandwich gone, but after we beat Leonard, Mr. Leonard Steak Charmer, he's gone as well. We can actually catch him in the act of trying to fence something in our office. Like he just got into our office and he's working with Jimmy.
Yeah, he's working with our tenant. He holds us up, but Max can point out that he has a cap gun.
Yeah.
So we tie him up and we torture him. We're trying to get the location of where the sandwich is. And we deduce that he is very, attached to his mother. So we get to use Yo Mama jokes. These jokes are really funny to me because a bunch of them are really positive.
Yep.
It's like Yo Mama's so radiant that she stepped into a nuclear reactor and looked, bright by comparison. There are all these compliments. I think that's very cute and pure.
Yeah, these are very pure jokes. I like that quite a bit. I also like this because saying, again, it shows kind of this codependence between Sam and Max. Max can only remember the punchlines, and Sam can only remember the setups. So you have to match them between the two of them.
Well, it's also obviously like a little homage to insult sword fighting,
of course.
Which I like. Eventually, we break him down. He says the sandwich is inside the one-armed bandit. He was trying to fence the arm, which is access. Once we get the arm, we can play the slot machine and get the sandwich back.
Yes.
Which allows us to join the mafia.
Also known here as the Orso Nostra, which I love.
Very good. When we're looking for the mole still, you probably forgot about that. I had. The Don pulls off his mask and reveals that he's actually is a mole.
It's Harry Mole.
He knows the passphrase. He was going undercover, and he's decided to actually join.
Yeah,
the mafia for money and power.
Yeah, he was tempted by what the mafia had to offer. So he's acting as kind of the Don, and anybody can be the Don if they claim it because they're all in masks.
Yes. Yep. Cute. So we have a little car chase. We chase them. The mafia are chasing us rather. They have bulletproof tires. We can't shoot those, but we shoot a sign overhead, which they crash into. Mm-hmm. And head back to the factory, head back to the casino.
Yeah. The Dawn kind of is through this door that was previously forbidden to us. It was called the Door of Death. Back here is a factory where they're making the hypno bears. And he tries to hypnotize Sam. But like we said, Sam has worked to the anti-hypnosis helmet into his hat. So he just has to pretend to be hypnotized in order to get kind of free reign to figure out how to deal with the factory. But the problem is, the Don orders Sam to shoot Max.
Yep. So since we have Leonard's cap gun, we can do that harmlessly. Max does a very long, dramatic death scene, ultimately leaning against this lever, which causes the machine to yank him onto this conveyor belt. He almost gets stuck in the chute, gets stuck loose. The Don is satisfied with this, so he leaves Max to work Sam to work the factory, while Max is there and while he reads comics. So you get to conspire to take him out.
Yes.
While he's just chilling out.
I just love his comments. Oh, you just think you know it all, don't you, Mary Worth?
Yeah. I'm way into the Kathy one because I think about Kathy a lot. the comic, you know? There's that tweet where it's like, I used to make fun of Kathy and now I'm all chocolate, ack. I'm older. Your life does get more like chocolate, ack, as you get older.
Yeah.
Constantly acking. But he says, I know she's married, but that Kathy is smoking hot.
There's a series of Aquid strips where Ray and Beef are calling just comic strip characters. They call Garfield and Dilbert and stuff, and they call Kathy and roast her. But but when Beef leaves, Ray just starts like hitting on her. Like, I want to get you pregnant, Kathy. Let's run away together.
Like, I'll put my baby inside you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you can go around. The ultimate solution here, these hypno bears work, and they will work on the mole. But the problem is, it says give all of your money to the teddy bear mafia, which won't work because he's the Don of it. So you need to swap out the voice boxes. The one-armed bandit is back here, and its voice box says you're on fire. So if you put that into a hypno bear, the hypnotized mole will believe that he is on fire and rush over to use a fire extinguisher, getting him in position to be yanked onto the conveyor belt if you pull the lever.
Yeah. So he's sucked in the machinery, overloads it, blows up the factory and the casino, and we just walk away. Our little stinger here, the pit boss, his mask is removed. He puts his finger to an earpiece and says, "This is Agent Chuckles. The factory's been destroyed. Commence Plan B." Setting us up for the next one.
Taking us to Abe Lincoln Must Die.
Yeah, this is my favorite of these. I think this is the funniest of them, and like the puzzles are fine, but they're not dog shit.
Right.
Hearing it, like there's nothing that's really makes me mad about this, and I think this is the funniest one. And you spend a lot of it away from the neighborhood.
Yes.
You know, it feels like this is kind of like they're stretching their legs a little bit. This and the next one.
Yeah, I feel like this is the funniest. I think that Reality 2.0 has the best the best puzzles to it.
Yeah. For some reason, all of them. This is when they start introducing the musical numbers.
Yes.
which I do not get. Do those work for you?
No, not really.
Yeah, I did not get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we start off with Sam and Max using their little bug to make prank calls when the commissioner calls them. The target is the president, who's enacting a lot of crazy laws. And Max mostly takes exception to the mandatory gun registration, of course. This is definitely a George W. Bush.
Oh, absolutely.
Figure. Again, placing this in a very specific time.
Yep. There's some Clinton humor in this. The cleverest joke of which is there's a sign on the front of the White House that says "Post no bills." Max or Sam says, "I can't believe this survived the Clinton administration," and I just like that one because it's a pun, not because it's
His name is Bill.
His name is Bill. You see, people call him William, but Bill is short for William. Yeah.
Yeah. People call him Willie. So we can go to the White House, the exterior, but we can't get in because there's a Secret Service agent named Superball at the gate, which I love, Agent Superball.
So
because he's a bouncer.
He's a bouncer, yeah. And he's dedicated to his job, but he's not just, guarding this door. He's, you talk to him, they have him doing odd jobs because of cutbacks, right? And he mentions that he's also a receptionist, which is the clue that you need. You can go to your office and call the phone that's kind of right near the door there, and then just put him on hold. And he will stay there on hold, letting you get in and out.
Yes. Yeah. So when you get in, we meet the president, who has kind of hypnotized spinny eyes. And there's not a whole lot we can do while he's here.
Right.
We're kind of stuck inspecting things, but this kind of goofy take on the White House is really charming to me.
No.
Little George Washington nutcracker and stuff.
My favorite one, because there's a rat hole on the wall. Like when we're outside, like you can see Jimmy Two Teeth. He's just kind of relaxing on an inner tube. In a little decorative pond, like he's here on vacation. There's a rat hole in this office, just like there's a rat hole in your office. And when you inspect it, Sam will say, "Looks like there are rats in the Oval Office." And I love Max's response: "Sam, you finally done it. A straight line so easy that even I won't touch it."
Yeah,
charming.
Very cute. There's a war room here, but we can't go in unless it's time of war. And if we try to, we get kicked out. As is happening, Whizzer is being invited in. Because he's the governor of Dakota. One of the Dakotas, as we'll learn, there's more to this.
Yep.
And we can also learn before this that the president is looking for Whizzer's interpreters. He cannot understand his language. When we go in, we can pose as the interpreters. And he's just speaking English, but the president just acts like he can't understand him here. So we get to go in and we get to misinterpret. So what he's actually doing is pitching this program. He's a recovering addict of soda abuse. So there's a lot of jokes about relapsing addicts, like the World's End in this, but for more cartoony purposes.
Yes. And if you try and just straight up interpret what he's saying, it doesn't get you anywhere. There are comedy options, like you can say like "die capitalist oppressor." Which is fun, but the way to go for it is to just kind of say the opposite of what he's saying. Just say like, "Boy, I'd love a soda right now." Kind of playing with the fact that he's an addict, and of course the president, he loves soda. He opens up a little globe that's right next to him. It's a little mini bar. I love those things. I don't really drink liquor that much anymore, but I want one of those globe liquor bars. Or mini bar kind of things, because they're attractive objects.
Snacks in it.
Yeah.
You can put anything in there.
Oh yeah,
as this game proves.
It does. Yeah. And Whizzer cannot resist when the president offers him a soda. And of course, he has to rock a piss right now, and you have to interpret his request for directions to the bathroom. But you can instead give him, have him get directions to the war room, so he gets kicked out.
Yeah. This means the president's bodyguard will take him out, leaving you alone with the president. So you can bop him, but when you bop him to knock him out, to deprogram him, his head pops off. He is a robot. So, and here's where I think this episode gets really funny.
Yeah.
Like so far, very standard.
Yes.
You know, but highlight of the entire season to me, the secret agent who we saw from the end of the last one returns, sees that the president has been killed. Mm-hmm. So he radios the next plan B, which is that the Lincoln Memorial is animated and becomes the president. And they do this like emergency election, like little subplot here, which I think is the most imaginative thing in the series.
Oh, it's great.
Or at least in the season.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and this has consequences, because the commissioner calls and says, oh, if Lincoln wins this emergency election, he's going to use his hypnosis powers to destroy the free world. We need somebody to run against him, and we have to run a campaign to get Max elected president. Yeah,
President Max, which is very cute.
Yep. So like this, we have to find ways to tank Lincoln's approval rating. It is Lincoln, Max, and Nader who are running.
Yep.
Always be down for a Nader joke. And you can't have Max really do anything because he's a monster, right? He's never going to endear himself. You just have to bring Lincoln into the mud.
Yeah, Max would be a bad president. So the important issue in this race, the most important issue is family values. So we have to dirty up Lincoln, because and Mary Todd Lincoln never got a statue. So this Lincoln is unmarried. The way we do this is Sybil is now running a dating service. And she wants, part of why she's doing this is because she wants to meet somebody herself. And she describes the person she wants to meet who's experienced, tall, and has a real history to them. So we introduce her to the concept of Abe Lincoln, not Abe Linker, Abe Lincoln. And she's like, ooh, and runs it through the personality matrix. And now she's interested in Lincoln.
Yeah. I love Max's response to the idea of the personality matrix. I don't have a personality matrix so much as a personality vector.
Yeah.
Incredibly good.
Yeah,
but yeah. So she'll like, yeah, I'll take a phone call from him. You can't get Lincoln over to a phone, but you do have this listening bug from the previous episode here still. And he'll do his stump speech at the drop of a stovepipe hat. So you just record him doing that and call Sybil from the office, and you're just selecting out of context lines from his speech to respond to her.
It's very funny because he still does it in the president voice. She's like, so should we go on a date? And you're like, tonight we will make history. It's very funny.
Yeah. Where should I meet you? I will be in the White House right now, or like something like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So she shows up and Lincoln ices her. Lincoln doesn't know and breaks her heart. It's very national television though, where he's going to have this affair on his non-statue wife.
Yep.
So his approval goes down.
Yeah.
There's also the debate. We can't just let Max talk, and Lincoln will repeat his campaign slogans over and over, which he reads off a card because he's a robot. So we have to find the cards from other signs. One of the old president's cue cards. There's one, Hugh Bliss has a little cameo here where he's selling his book in a little stand next to your house. You can grab his card and use them as responses, inappropriate responses to questions.
Yes.
To take his approval.
Yeah. So, Max will act as the moderator on this television debate, and you can ask the questions, and you want to. Oh, yes, Sam. Yes, I do that a lot actually. But yeah, Sam, you need to ask him questions that match the inappropriate response that you put up. And these are real funny. So like one of the signs that you say that you have is free home delivery. So you can ask him, how do you plan to solve the problem of toxic waste?
Yeah, they immediately cut to a news report. Like, oh, the president's controversial plan. Yeah. I really like the religion in schools and two wrongs don't make a right.
Yep. Coming out against education and religion
right away. Very good. So this makes him lose the election, and he immediately goes on a rampage, which is what presidents do when they lose elections.
Am I right?
Causing a capital insurrection. He goes on this rampage, potentially hypnotizing the entire East Coast, and we have to stop him.
Yes.
So Max is now the president. He's in the Oval Office. And this starts the set of puzzles where we're trying to get in the war room. And to do that, we have to cause a war. basically.
Yeah.
And we figure out what the soda poppers have been up to here. Each of them is a governor of a Dakota, including the newly formed West Dakota. And they're trying to decide who gets to keep Mount Rushmore.
And they all have different plans for what to do with it. I think Peepers wants to turn Washington's head into a parking garage. Whizzer wants to make it, to turn it into an anti-soda kind of thing. It kills me to say soda. I die inside when I say soda, Gary.
It's a cool phrase. Yeah. Soda. Broaden your vocabulary. They all work.
I know.
There's certain situations in which you want to say pop, certain ones in which you want to say soda.
I know.
Certain ones in which you want to say Coke.
Yeah.
Weird Southerner. You just call everything Coke, Sprite Coke.
Yeah. It's just I feel like I've got to come on here and pretend to be somebody I'm not, just by not calling it pop.
You do.
Yeah.
Like what on earth are we doing if you're not doing that? Come
on, man. We need war. We need there to be war were declared. So the likeliest way to do that is to egg them on in this in this conflict. Fortunately, Bosco is selling truth serum for $100 million. And his disguise and his paranoia now, he's disguised as a Russian, Comrade Boscovich. And he thinks that, that America is targeting him with ICBMs. So he's modified the BTADs to watch out for those. And of course, the government is actually watching him.
Yeah, we're going to find out later. I think this is also the one where you say like $100 million, like, aren't these prices getting a little bit ridiculous? And he says something like, well, I keep raising them, but you keep paying them. So who's being stupid?
No, that's a payoff. That's an episode 6.
That's the next one?
Yeah, we call him crazy. And he's like, you guys keep paying the craziest price that I can think of. So,
so who's crazy?
Yeah.
Very good. Sybil has changed. She's disillusioned with romance, so she's changed it to a carbon dating service, and she has a special carbon dating gun that'll tell you how old anything is. She does on this tiki on her desk, learns that it's over 4,000 years old, which means she can make her office a National Historic Site. We can do this to get the gun. We go and we give her budget. We have discretionary spending. So we grant her that money. She leaves the gun, which we then can use on Bosco's hot dogs. Which are early Cretaceous period hot dogs, convenience store old hot dog joke.
Yep.
Which lets us grant him $100 million for the truth serum.
Yes. Which is just a bottle of vodka, and he says it works.
Yep. As he is a Russian now. We can give this to Whizzer. They'd been kind of hinting around some kind of problem that they don't want to talk about. If you give them the truth serum, they'll pick a fight and start a war, which allows us to go into the war room.
Right. And when war is declared, the siren goes off, and this is where we get our first musical number. This is like, of the musical numbers, the one that works for me.
It's better, but it's still doing the like Austin Powers, like this goes on so long.
Yes.
Like where like the peeing thing. And then the next one doubles down, and that's so fucking hard. Like the characters are like, man, this sucks, and they're just like, what? Another verse? Don't mind if we do. And you know me and characters criticizing the work they're in. Like it doesn't necessarily work for me. So this is cute, but boy, do they play this trick.
Yeah, war. What's it good for? You and me. A lengthy battles an incumbent stream because you can't change horses in midstream. So just kind of making commentary
Real
about
capital
how
steps.
Yep.
We got the Washington monuments over here.
Yeah.
Doing a little political humor.
I thought
the old Beltway.
I thought he already did the deficit rag. No, that was the spending gap rag.
Yeah. Just a lot of different rags about different lobbyists and stuff. Hey kids. Do you like rags?
Yeah. So the war's declared and the door's open, but Super Ball is still blocking the way. In order to get him to go away, if we look on the desk, there's a ribbon that you can use to make anybody into a cabinet secretary. So you can make him into a cabinet secretary and then use the presidential challenger which actually changes what date it officially is and make it Secretary's Day, so you can order him to take a vacation, which he is upset about.
When you go into the war room, we can see this targeting computer where they have missiles on people, including Bosco.
Yeah.
We cannot shoot Bosco. but he's there. We have to go back and grab his little sensor there from his BTAD camera, and then we can now throw this beacon at Lincoln, who is rampaging. Inside the war room, you can do a couple of other different things. And whenever you shoot a missile, it's the Washington Memorial. Shoots and then just grows another one.
Yep.
Which is very cute.
I love that. Yeah. But you place the beacon, kill Lincoln, and you're good to go. I love their line. Sam says, we broke 2 presidents in one afternoon, and Max like a personal best. So, and the little cliffhanger is we hear a voice over Chuckles' earpiece. It's this woman's voice asking for a situation update, but when he doesn't respond, it says error, 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 leading us into reality 2.0.
Which is also, this is my second favorite.
Yes.
At least I don't think this is as funny, but it's interesting. So Max has moved the Oval Office into the detective agency office, rather than the opposite. And Sam is kind of acting as, running through his agenda, acting as a secretary.
Yeah.
Including, these criticisms that his policies are too focused on giant rorobots.
Which are prowling the street.
Yeah, prowling the street because he's waggy.
Yeah.
And his response is, you can take that up with my new press secretary, the Mametron 9000. Pretty cute.
Yeah.
However, the commissioner calls.
Right.
Again. The economy and civilization are collapsing because of something happening on the internet right there in the neighborhood.
Right. They say the consortium of smart people who are good at computers have determined that there's an electron surge right there or something. I just like the consortium of smart people who are good at computers. And we can kind of see, okay, so how do we do something with the internet? Both Sam and Max are Luddites, right? They're kind of from out of time. But if you go over to Sybil's place, she is now running a beta testing business, and she is locked into this pair of hypnotic VR goggles, kind of shouting out little LARP phrases as she's, swinging at demons and stuff.
Yeah. We cannot break through. We assume she's hypnotized and we need some way to stop her. We check in on Bosco, of course, where we see that Bosco is now taking on a half-elf heritage. He's got one elf ear and calls himself El Bosco Drill, the Unhinged, the mighty half-elf ranger, and is doing all his business online. And he's also kind of subcontracting because Jimmy Two Teeth has become an arms dealer. When he was in Washington, that's what he was doing there, was making connections. And now he's working at the front of Bosco's. He has this little cannon, but he will not sell it to us because we're cops.
Yep.
Which go Jimmy Two Teeth.
Yeah, go Jimmy Two Teeth. He accurately says, if I sell it to you, next thing I know, Max is shooting me with it. So
yep,
he knows these guys. He knows them. Bosco's big ticket item here, as a fellow arms dealer, he's got a deadly biological weapon which he is selling for $1 billion. Because Jimmy Two Teeth is driving the market up by competing with him. And Jimmy Two Teeth rattles something off about competition. I love this line. Max says, say what you will, but the rat knows his anarcho-capitalist economic philosophy. Sam says, Max, I only bought you those encyclopedias because you promised me you couldn't read. Yeah.
We do not need an ANCAP Max.
No, we don't.
Fucking ANCAP. So we get the cannon by trying to take it. He fires it at Sam, knocking him down. But then as he's reloading, we can push him into the barrel and get a little rat gun here, which we then fire at Sybil to knock her out, breaking the goggles. It turns out she was not hypnotized. She was just beta testing this game called Reality 2.0, developed by a client who works right next door in this abandoned storefront. We've seen the storefront over and over, but we never been able to go in.
Lefties.
They're called the Cops, but it's acronym. It's all capitalized.
Yeah. So we need to fix the goggles to get into Reality 2.0. to figure this out. The COPS, COPS, the Computer Obsolescence Prevention Society, which is a bunch of outdated machinery sitting on chairs in this dark room. It's an old computer, it's a phone, it's a Pong console, and an arcade machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do a very long song here. This is something where I like the flavor of these guys. I really wanted more charismatic voice acting for all of them.
Yes.
Specifically the old computer who's kind of doing the voice that does this, you know. Yeah. But it just not like it takes too long for each delivery, and it's not treated in any way. It sounded basically like me just doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I just wanted a little bit extra English on this. Like, this could have been a really good time for some charismatic voices.
Yes. The funniest thing they do with the voices is the Pong machine only speaks in beeps. And Max says, I like that guy. It sounds like he's always swearing. And one of them says, I think it's the arcade machine. He goes, he is.
Yeah. That's very cute.
Yeah.
So after they sing their song, they dispense a chip that we need to fix the goggles. And they give Max an extra pair of extra wide goggles so he can wear them because his head is huge. And we enter the cyber realm. And this is like an overlay over the neighborhood.
Yes.
Which is very cool looking. Creative little reuse of space here.
Yes. When we get in there, the internet greets us. It's Shodan. Like it's a woman's face kind of overlaid on a chip. It says, welcome here to Reality 2.0, the most immersive game that exists. Go around. And there are kind of some ground rules here that she lays out. So we're in a virtual version of the neighborhood. Everything is always overlaid. If you die in the game, you die in real life. So if something happens in Reality 2.0, it'll also affect the human bodies. And also, any items that we bring from the real world will have cyber equivalents. So, like, I love it. You can find a pair of binoculars, and it will turn into like a little magnifying glass icon, like a zoom in icon in your inventory when you're in the cyber realm. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's cute. It's clever. Yeah. So our goal, we have to infect the mail here, kind of start fixing the internet. But the mail is guarded by Antibiotic, which is an antivirus program that looks like Myra, wearing +2 armor. They explain this, like all this video game stuff. And the cops, when we go into there, we in the cyber realm, they govern like basic like cheat code, like functions. So like gravity, your avatar width, your height, and pop-ups. And to kind of activate them, you put the listening bug on them because it acts as a computer bug in this world.
Yeah. So you can like reduce gravity. So you're going to be popping in here to change certain parameters to solve puzzles. This is, it feels pronounced here, but it's kind of a bummer broadly. The back and forth in a lot of this is a little bit of a bummer to me.
I'm kind of surprised I haven't mentioned this before this. You can't skip animations.
Yes.
In this game. So every time you exit a scene or go upstairs or go downstairs, you get a couple seconds of watching that. And I am amazed like that shit makes it out of playtesting.
Yes.
Because everyone needs to be more precious about your time. Like I'm playing Paradise Killer now for the show, and it's like the same fucking thing. Yeah. Like you go in to like look at into a room, and it loads up the screen, and you get this cute little loady screen, and then a cute little deloady screen, and it like adds nothing. Yeah. Just let me skip it.
Please.
It drives me fucking nuts. And there's a lot of back and forth in this.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
So that's one thing there. As we look around out on the street, Hugh Bliss is here, or at least something resembling him. It is the Internet Wizard, who will give us a complimentary paint bucket that will let us change the DeSoto's coloring.
Yeah, it's a skin.
Yeah.
Mid-aughts humor, gaming humor. Bosco's Reality 2.0 store is a medieval shop. He will sell us a wooden longsword for 5 coins here. But this means that he has also been hypnotized. He's not in the real world anymore. So this Internet 2.0 is taking over more and more people.
Yes.
So we have to collect these coins. We can collect a coin from Jimmy Two Teeths by reducing our height and walking into the mouse hole. Sybil has one in the closet, which we have to make ourselves 2-dimensional to get in there. And there are 3 coins like a Mario outside. which we have to reduce gravity to do.
I like that Max calls Sam a sellout for jumping like Mario to get them. Just doing popular stuff. For shame. But we get the longsword here, and the something that we can do if you go back where the Slurpee machine was, or the squishy machine was in the real world. It is a spawn point that will spawn a blue slime, and you can go in and do a little turn-based battle, giving you the options to do like trying to defend or attack with quips, but you can just attack this thing and kill it, getting a slippery blue slime that will help you that'll help you get a better sword, because you can jump onto Sybil's roof and use it to get a hold of this +2 sword that is lodged in a billboard.
Yeah, we can fight Antibiotic before that, but we can't do damage to her. We also have to survive her initial attack because she has higher dexterity, so has faster initiative. Pop-ups are spawned by this Jack-in-the-Box there. We have to turn them off, grab the Jack-in-the-Box, and then turn them back on again to use that as defense in the fight.
Yes.
That defends us against her attack, and then we can counterattack with our +2 sword to defeat her. We can't put anything in the weapon in the mailbox yet, though. We need a virus, essentially.
Right. Yeah. And because they're cyber versions of real life things, the best thing that we can do is get hold of that biological weapon from Bosco. But there's a problem. He wants a ridiculous sum of money. Also, we can't pay him because he's so paranoid. He only banks with bancolavadero.com, which is just banklaundry.com. And we need his password to pay him, but he had the password wiped out of his memory and tattooed on his back. So we need to get a hold of that before we can do anything.
Yep. To do this, we use the longsword to knock off his helmet in the virtual realm, which knocks it off in the real world. And then we can go and talk to him and tell him to look behind him and use the binoculars to read the tattoo on his back to get the password, which is Bosco.
It's funny that it's his name, but Bosco is also, George Costanza's pin in Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We cannot just drive to the bank because it only allows certain colors of cars. We're stopped by a firewall, so we have to use the paint to get our car to be the correct colors.
Yeah.
A little bit silly. I don't understand why that is.
Just arbitrary cyber stuff. Actually, I like this puzzle. I think that this is clever. At least it made me feel clever in solving it. Because when you're blocked, like you're put off to the side of the road, and you have to notice that the cars that are getting through, they're all tricolored, and their color actually matches their like the encoding on their license plate. So looking at the DeSoto's license plate, BRP means we need blue, red, purple, and it's randomized. Yeah.
This just felt very obvious to me. I think it was because I already had the paint.
Maybe
beforehand, before I needed to go do this. So it's just kind of like, okay, like these colors, these cars are these different colors. Like this just felt very direct to me.
Yeah.
So not saying that to stomp on your clever.
No.
Just
making the connection to the license plate, because license plates are just like whatever. I don't pay attention
static.
to them. Yeah. Like so, I went and tried. Okay, so the first car that I saw go through was like blue, red, green, or whatever. So then I painted that, and it didn't work. And then I noticed like, oh yeah, they're different, and they match the license plates. Recognizing that was the thing that made me feel clever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would never take that away from you.
Yeah, it's not La
It's also like
it's just a good thing. It's a good puzzle.
Yeah. It's not a very this is not a very rigorous game.
No.
We didn't really say that before, but like that in terms of on the Sandmax scale is a pretty complicated puzzle.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I didn't like about it was it just felt very arbitrary that like to get through the firewall you had to have a car matching the colors of your license plate. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that was a metaphor for in terms of like the computer realm or whatever.
Do the fenders match the plates?
Hey, see, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Right? Why didn't they say that?
I don't know.
Then, that there you go. You +1 it. Because as is, it just because I'm like, okay, this seems like an arbitrary rule that the firewall has.
Yeah.
And arbitrariness is the enemy of the adventure game puzzle.
True.
Like in a general sense.
Yep.
When you get there, the bank has this big board showing this money laundering scheme. that's happening to fund this conspiracy. And we kind of do this little mini game here to divert the money through this little like trickle down kind of thing.
Yeah. Every time the money moves, like the order or like the direction that the money splits changes. So you have to set it so it all ultimately goes down to Bosco.
Yeah. And once we give him $1 billion, he'll give us the weapon, which he blows his nose on a hanky and gives it to us. So it's the Bosco virus.
I love. He says, like, hey, what's your snot rag? He says, I'm feeling. I might have a cold coming on.
Yeah, this will work.
Yep. Yeah. But you put it into the mailbox, and it causes a problem. Reality 2.0, things start popping out of existence, start derezzing. And the internet comes out and yells at us saying, oh, I just wanted to make you all happy, but you had to go and want free will. And she's lost all respect for living things and will start, just crash reality around us, trapping us and therefore killing us. We can't take the glasses off. And we are here in reality 1.5, which is a text adventure version of The Neighborhood.
Yes. We're still standing there in the foreground, but the background is a text display.
Yes.
Here. Sybil's place is overrun by cats who have formed a lake of nauseating cuteness. Bosco's place is so destroyed that we can pick it up. We can get Bosco's here. The goal here is to get the respect for living things object and use it on the internet. But however, it fell into this chasm and is being eaten by a shambling corporate presence. So we have to do this. We have to make the corporate presence puke by dipping Bosco's in the nauseating lake of kittens and feed it to the corporate presence to make it cough up a prize, cough up our prize.
Yes. I like the text adventure thing. Like, this is even before like Nier did it. Like any of these where it plays around with text adventure stuff, I am kind of a mark for.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute and clever. It's not a very complicated text adventure, and you still do it within the engine.
Yeah.
Of Sam & Max, which is really weird. I kind of wish they had committed to it a little bit further.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, this is definitely, this one and the last one is when they start kind of like messing with the format.
Yes.
In a way that I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah. But if you give the respect for living things to the internet, she will release her hold. She realized, oh, I had created a prison for you. But she succumbs to the virus. And before she dies, the last thing that she says, you won't have this sentient global network to kick around anymore, Roy G. Biv, kind of like naming the person behind all of this. We had seen in the money laundering that Mr. Biv was at the top. And Sam and Max are frustrated that they didn't get more information about their culprit, but they swear revenge.
And the camera pans up to the moon, which has Hugh Bliss's face. So it's been Hugh Bliss all along, which we're going to take out in the finale here, the bright side of the moon. Starts off with Max giving an address to the country, saying he sent everyone a complimentary aerosol can. Let's get to spraying America. Let's heat this mother up, which it's pretty good.
Yep. And Sam is despondent. He's looking out the window, and we can hear like distant gunfire and screaming. Like, Max is not running the country well. But he's more sad because he's just trying to figure out who Roy G. Biv is, and we think, okay, solving this mystery is going to be what this episode's about. But he starts doing like free association with Max,
like Batman stuff.
Yeah,
like how Batman figures out like, oh, Riddler, like River Bank, first bank of Gotham, firstborn, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Saying like, oh, the word morning is, some kind of ancient language for he who destroys the hypnotic rainbow man. And they figure the culprit is the one person who's never said the word morning to him. I haven't gone and checked this, but I assume it's true. So the only person who has never said that word is Hugh Bliss.
Yeah, who knows? It's very hard for me to imagine like all the soda poppers said it, as well. Like maybe, but like there's a lot of small characters.
Yeah.
in this. Did Lincoln say it? You know, it's just a goofy joke, I think. Because it's immediately undercut. The commissioner calls and says, "I figured it out. It's Hugh Bliss," and we find out Bliss is at this exclusive prismatology retreat on the moon. It's a place called the Blister of Tranquility. So we have to go to the moon, and we spend almost this entire episode, or basically this whole episode, up there.
Yes,
we spend a little bit of time on the ground, but we spend a lot of time on the moon, which is cool.
Yeah, you can just walk around on the moon. There's atmosphere. The DeSoto will take you back and forth. I just love that they're like, fuck it, just roll with it.
Yeah, it does not matter.
Yeah. Once you're up there, the mole is running this gift shop on the surface of the moon, just selling cheap crap. And there's like a little display at the back, one showing Hugh Bliss's conspiracy, which is fun. But there's also in this little kind of snow globe case, this spoon bending talisman. It was kind of one of the first tricks that Bliss did, and it's here commemorating it. It's inside this unbreakable case. You can grab it, but the mole will frisk you on the way out. So the way that you get it out is just to feed it to Max.
Yeah. Yep. This episode is kind of how they bring the place where they bring everyone back.
Except for Brady Culture. It's weird.
Yeah, except for Brady Culture, who disappeared. Yeah, everyone else gets a little cameo.
I didn't even like Brady Culture that much. It's just weird that he's gone. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Isn't it kind of strange? So when Max swallows it, you can get this, but then we need to get him to puke it up. To get it out. These little talismans act as like superpowers.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what you use for a lot of the puzzles here, are these little magical power things. There's a lunar lander here, but they lock the keys inside it, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Even having keys is pretty good. So we have to get the coat hanger from the TV to get them. And if we do this, the lunar lander we drive it, just flies up and crashes in the same place.
Right.
It is a puzzle element to be used for something different a little bit later.
Yeah. The way to the Blister of Tranquility is guarded by none other than Super Ball, who is fully converted to prismatology, and he finally feels appreciated. And he will not let us in. You need to be the highest level prismatologist to get in. You need to get a spectrum analysis. You need to be level red, which means you have to rub this little unicorn that acts like a mood ring. So you gotta heat it up, which means you get this unicorn, and you can try a bunch of different things, but the solution is to microwave it at Bosco's to turn the horn red. So we got to go check out the neighborhood.
Yeah, and obviously level red prismatologist is a Scientology.
Yes.
Joke.
Yeah. Even
again, firmly placing this in the mid 2000s.
Yes. Even emetics, just as a play on Dianetics. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for puking.
Of
and
course.
the cover of that is him puking up a rainbow, like an emetic medicine.
Yeah.
Like the emetic poisons we get in Hitman. So checking out our friends. Sybil's new job is she's the Queen of Canada because she answered a classified ad. Very cute. You can say, "Why are you up here?" Or "Why are you still in the United States?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me? It's freezing up there." Pretty cute.
Yep.
Jimmy's down here. He's holding onto this bent parking meter and just says to mind our own business. We hit that parking meter. We can look at it early on. It was the last time we lit Sam Drive, or the Max Drive.
Yeah.
Rather.
And if you go over to Bosco's, he's decided to go full Mrs. Doubtfire. He's disguised himself as his own mother.
Yeah, Mrs. Bosco. This is where he does the joke where he's selling the earthquake maker for $100 trillion and calls us out for being willing to pay it.
Yeah.
We go to our office. After each episode, we can go in our closet, and there's like a little thing, like a little memento of each case. After the third one, the memento we kept was Leonard's steak charmer tied up in the closet, but now he's actually useful for a puzzle. We need to get the deed to the United States. Very funny idea. And Max fed it to him.
Yes.
So we need him to puke it up.
So you take the unicorn, which you microwaved and turned red, and give it to Super Ball, who I love his response. I'm utterly flabbergasted, sir. I suspect a trick, but surely no level red prismatologist would stoop so low.
Yeah. Cute little language bit.
Yep. And you get into the Blister of Tranquility, which is a weird little like a theme park that's full of like spoons, and there's a roller coaster that goes around on a rainbow track, and kind of our entire rogues gallery is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's hanging out.
Yeah.
The head of Ublith says like soon the entire planet will be under his spell, and Max is into this. Entire planet of Prismatologists is like a dream. We kind of look through, a lot of people have been converted, including our goldfish here, our ant farm. I think when you click on the ant farm earlier, it's like the perfect thing for a slaver on a budget or something.
Yeah.
It's just like pretty good. The head of Abraham Lincoln, not Laborham, like going into Laborham Lincoln. It's gonna be my new euphemism for giving birth. Is here studying the power to gastrokinesis, which makes people vomit. He's sad. He's not sad because he lost the election, because only a grade A sociopath masochist would want that thankless job.
And Max is flattered that Lincoln would call him a grade A sociopath, which is nice. No, he's bummed out. He's lovelorn. He fell in love with Sybil at first sight, but because of the circumstances we arranged, she hates his guts. He embarrassed her on live television.
Yeah. So we have Lincoln give her a call, and we Cyrano de Bergerac him.
Yeah.
We whisper in the correct responses to things she would like based on things that we've seen in her office.
Yeah. So there's a sign that says relax. It's like, oh, I believe relaxing. You can call her a foxy lady, and she's got like a stuffed fox near the door, just stuff like that.
Yep. He gives up his gastrokinesis talisman, which we can use to make people throw up. We make Leonard throw up the deed of the United States. We can't sell it. We're trying to sell it to get money to get this earthquake machine, but nobody will buy it. Yeah.
Symbol's line. Really good joke. That's
there.
A lot of money for something that has Alabama in it.
Yeah, that's very good.
You can make Max throw up the case that you fed him. Supposedly it's unbreakable, but you can have the lunar lander crash into it, breaking it open and getting us the spoon, which lets us bend metal things.
Philo Pennyworth, the chicken actor, is in the blister. Sam calls him Mr. Featherly, his stage name here, even though the show was canceled after our one episode. He's trying to pull a rat from a hat, like the magician's trick, but cannot get a good hold on Jimmy. So we go down with our spoon and unbend the parking meter, which flings Jimmy free, so Philo can grab him through the hat. Here. He remembers he hates rats and hands over the hat. We're just collecting adventure game objects, basically.
Yeah. So now we can pull a rat. We can get Jimmy whenever we need to. That'll come up later. The cops are here. The obsolete technology, and they're doing introspection. They're looking inside themselves, which involves seeing through lead, because they're outdated. They're made entirely of lead. They're trying to create an unbeatable AI. And they're doing that in order to create an unbeatable game. They give this big setup. You're a space marine who's woken up. There's an ancient evil is awakened. Blah blah blah. But the game itself is just Tic Tac Doom, which isn't just a tic tac toe game, but it is an incredibly easy tic tac toe game.
Yeah. This is pretty clever.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, you can just win it, and this discourages them, but you need to encourage them. So you have to purposely lose tic-tac-toe against somebody else trying to lose, which is that'd be a fun tic-tac-toe variant to do in real life. Purposely losing tic-tac-toe. It's very easy to get a cats game.
Yeah.
In tic-tac-toe, but it's just a little clever twist on this silliness.
Yeah.
Doing so, if they're encouraged, they give you the talisman of lead vision. So we can now ride this elevator up to confront Hugh Bliss. We look through this lead door, see there's a bowling ball and a spoon above the open button, which we can bend the spoon now that we can see it and get in there.
And Hugh Bliss is cornered up here in this inner sanctum, kind of a control room with a ring of statues of himself. And he decides to activate his plan. He says, "Hi, I'm Hugh Bliss, and now so are all of you." He takes his place at the center of this, rainbow of lasers and projects a hypno beam out to all of Earth to blissify the entire human population.
Yes. You never would have guessed it, but Hugh Bliss is the same thing as John Sublime from New X-Men.
I love that turn so fucking much.
It's pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
I did not expect Hugh Bliss to be John Sublime.
Yep.
So, there's only one force that's chaotic and non-blissful enough to stop him, which is Max. So he knows this. So to stop that from happening, he dismantles him. Mm-hmm. And he takes out his sins, the things that make him not blissful.
Yeah.
Here.
It takes away Max's wrathful hand, which just, shoots everybody, takes away his gluttonous stomach, and his slothful tail. And all of these parts, when removed from Max, are attached to these, multicolored doppelgangers who embody those traits of him and run off. And Max Prime is this blissed out zombie who is creepily missing all those parts.
Yeah. And thus giving us 3 things to do. Mm-hmm. To go kill these other Maxes and get the parts back.
Yes.
So Wrath Max is on the roller coaster, just shooting in the air wildly, jumping around. We had to wait until they're in the car and then shoot the button to make the roller coaster go, and then bend the spork at one part, which will cut off the hand. As it passes by, the chromatic Max dies, and we put the hand back on Max, which gives him the desire to shoot wildly again.
Yeah, and he just fires wildly at his friend, which is good. Sloth Max is outside of the entrance to the blister. He's fully black-pilled. It's just like everybody should just lay down and die. And you can't flip him over. He's just dead weight. So this will be the use for the earthquake maker. But we need the $1 trillion to make that happen. Fortunately, when we go back to the neighborhood, everybody has been completely blissed out, which means Sybil will agree to the transaction. She will buy the deed to the United States to make it into Lower Saskatchewan. And even cuter, she'll pay for it with a 1 trillion Canadian dollar bill, which has Celine Dion on it. Yeah. And you can take it over to Bosco, who will sell you the device, which actually is like impressive technology this time.
Yeah, it's the genetic engineered bug in this.
Yeah.
He hits about 2 out of every 6 times. It's a remote that will crash his satellite into the moon or wherever you like it. So you crash into the moon, which causes Sloth Max to flip over so you can rip off his tail here. Glutton Max is in Bosco's eating everything. So you grab Jimmy through the hat, Jimmy the rat, feed him to Max, and then pull Jimmy and Max's stomach out of the hat. Not sure exactly how that works, but it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
And I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Max is whole again, and he's all warm inside, like his belly is a cozy place where flavored popcorn and sugar drinks can meet and mingle. And same, buddy.
Meet
flavored
and mingle.
Popcorn's good.
Yeah. So now we got our boy back, and we're ready for the final showdown.
Yes.
Here.
So we go up to Hugh Bliss's inner sanctum, and Max immediately knocks Bliss out of his crystal and takes his place, which has the secondary effect of maxifying the entire world.
Mm-hmm. We don't get all of the consequences of that, just yet. And Blue Fliss, man,
yeah, it's fine. You're good, buddy.
Hugh Bliss,
don't worry.
Is very angry about this. And this is where he reveals he's a John Sublime. He's a spacefaring colony of bacteria that feeds on endorphins. So bullets cannot kill him.
This is really this is disillusioning to Max. Although he gets it. So you don't care if people are happy at all. You just want to eat till you drop. I hear that.
Yeah, like I get it.
Yeah.
And this introduces, of course, like our kind of irritating final puzzle for the thing, where you just kind of go in a loop between these different stage magician things that he's going to kill you on TV, for revenge here, but we can use the spoon bending talisman to get the magician's talisman. Well, let's just swap places. You think that would be the end of it, because it would swap places and Hugh Bliss would get sawed in half, but he's a bacteria still.
Yeah.
So this took me a while to figure out what to do here. So I ended up doing a lot of loops and watching a lot of unskippable animations.
Yeah.
Which left a pretty nasty taste in my mouth.
Right at the end.
This last puzzle.
Yeah, that bad last impression. Like I think what you like, the actual thing that you do is clever. The interface for achieving it is bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
you the lunar lander is here, and you saw one of the legs, so it leans. So when you can turn it on the jet, you get Hugh in the tank of water, like that trick, and then use the jet on the water to boil it while he's in there,
pasteurizing them. It's the one thing that'll kill bacteria.
Yeah.
And this leads to possibly my favorite line, or at least it's a huge payoff. Max takes a drink from the tank and says, "And with my next number one, I shall give birth to the cult of diuretics," which is really good.
It's cute. Super good.
Yeah.
So now we have to go back and knock everyone out because everyone's hypnotized into being Max. Max wonders where his other boxing glove is, and Sam gives it to him, saying he's saving it for a surprise. And they have this little heartfelt moment where they hug.
Yeah. You're the best friend I ever had, Sam. And you're mine, little buddy. Now let's go save the world. And we get, like, over the credits, them going around and bopping all the characters who are acting like Max.
Yeah. And that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
That's the end of the season. It's like super cute. It's not like, it's funny because it's like playing through it. It's very, I'm glad that we have all this vocabulary so we can differentiate between like hilarious and amusing. Like it's full of smile out loud moments.
Yeah.
Just like, huh. It's real warm, fuzzy, like non-offensive, gentle humor at a consistent drip.
Yes.
It's not doing, one of the things I was thinking about is that if it had been a while since we'd done like a funny game, this would maybe hit a little bit harder.
Right.
But it's tough because we just did the Stanley Parable, which is laugh out loud funny. This is not laugh out loud funny. It's much more like a Looney Tunes thing where it's like, okay, this is some shtick. I get it. It's shtick.
It's shtick. And I like these characters. I like their dynamic and I like their world, so like that charm goes a long way when, usually charm is not it's not a currency that spends too well on the show. It doesn't paper over kind of the mechanical problems, and I think that I would be more harsh on that if they didn't kind of straighten out and if the later seasons, kind of didn't show growth on Telltale's part.
Yeah.
Well,
even the later episodes.
Yes.
This I think show growth.
Yeah.
It's a weird, I don't remember exactly how I felt like when I first played the first episode, but they definitely improve.
Yeah.
It just is, it's one of those things to me where it's like a case of measured expectations.
Yes.
Like by no means as an adventure game fan do I feel like, I would recommend anyone drop everything.
Yeah.
To play the Telltale Sam and Max adventure games. Like they're consistently charming. You get to spend some time in that world, which there's a comic and there's a cartoon and there's the original game, as well. So there's not tons of places to spend time in that world. If you are thirsty for that world, this is another source of it.
Yes.
As a video game, I think there are probably, better things to do with your time. Like I don't regret going through these again, but I think I'm fine to say goodbye to them. I don't think I'm going to play these ever again. Played them when they came out, played them now. I'm good.
Yeah. I haven't played season 2 and 3. So like when those get their remasters, I could, I have a little bit more of an appetite for them. But then again, I also always say that.
You do say that about every single thing we do for the show.
I do. Yeah,
it is true.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is there's nobody's keeping you accountable.
I know, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. It's just a weird. I mean, it's funny because like I'm saying that as a joke, but that's really where this lands for me, right? It's like this thing where, in an earlier age where I had a deficit of entertainment, like I would make time for this.
Yeah.
as of now, I don't quite think, like, when those come out again, I'm curious about them, but I don't think they quite clear the bar.
Yeah.
For me, I probably would rather do other stuff instead.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, but for me, I'm also curious about the ways in which it gets better. You know,
yeah.
Like I never played those those 2 seasons. So
yeah, it does address a lot of the stuff, specifically in season 3, and season 2 is more of the same, and it's good.
Yeah,
you know, it is a weird for me. Like, as far as things we've done on the show, this might illustrate the like good but not good enough place for me, better than anything we've done for a while.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's good. It's not, it's pleasant. It was a pleasant way to spend time. I smiled out loud a lot. Some of the puzzles were mild challenges that felt mildly good.
Yeah.
And I like these 2 characters a lot. I used to have a little ceramic Sam and Max toy that came with like a collector's edition thing with the comic. Yeah. And I lost all parts of that except for my Sam and Max shot glass. That's the only thing that still exists. So I still have my Sam and Max shot glass. Like, I love these characters.
Yeah.
I like that comic quite a bit. It's just as a game experience.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too little for me.
Fucking reprint the comics. Like, it shouldn't be a $300 like omnibus, please.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cartoon is cute as well. If people have never seen it, like, it is what this is. You have to be in the market for kind of Animaniacs-y.
Yeah.
Yes. But it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have anything to say about Sam and Max Save the World, hit us up at duckfeed.tv/contact by the 15th of August. Mm-hmm. Also, if you have anything to say about Paradise Killer or Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. We've got those games coming up. Chrono Trigger is a premium episode. So the full version of that will be available for our patrons, but everybody will get to hear kind of the generalities. If you have thoughts about September's games, write in by September the 15th. Those games are Katana Zero, Sonic 2, Singularity, the mid-2000s shooter, and Darkest Dungeon, which is the premium episode for that month.
Yeah, that is a game without like a lot of plot. Mm-hmm. So the generalities of that are going to be the basic rhythm, and then when we start getting to the nitty gritty of the biomes, the bosses, and the classes, that'll be the bulk of the episode.
Yes.
So just know that the real meat is going to be a premium.
Yes.
Premium bad boy for that one. And we have cool stuff coming up after that as well.
We do.
If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/duckfeed.tv. You can still sponsor an episode, but it will be, we'll do it next year because we are all booked up for this year. But you can still pop in at $5, get all our premium episodes, get bonus shows, get a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Thanks to Cinderelf for getting us to play this. And reminding me that Sam and Max is good.
Sam and Max, very good.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not that I can think of. And until next time, watch out for Max. He seems real unpredictable little buddy.
He's real cute, and then he shoots you.
Yeah.
And then you die just like regular blood and death and everything.
Yeah, because I'm human. This is the real world, Max.
Mm-hmm. Max, grow up.